World-defying Dan God Chapter 5301, Old Enemies. In Chen Zhang's memory, although the demon ancestor and Zan ancestor were the strongest in Daishin at the beginning, after being merged into Tiangu Purgatory, they must be just little shrimps. Even after the Great Different Heaven was merged into the Tiangu Purgatory, the demon ancestor and Xuanzu could still control the entire Great Different Heaven, so it is impossible to compare with the three saints. The three sacred sects are the Time Heavenly Man and the Time Cultivator. These three once dominated the ancient purgatory and disrupted the chaos of time and space in many universes. But now it seems that the demon ancestor and Xuanzu seem to be stronger than the three sacred sects. Chen Shang also thought of a possibility now, that is, after the birth of the absolute beginning heaven and earth, everyone was at the same starting point. After the Sanshengjiao can't control time, it will be far inferior to other forces in all aspects. And the reason why Demon Ancestor and Xuanzu have such a powerful force now is very likely to be the Daishin they controlled at the beginning. Daishin is a very huge universe, which contains multiple time and space, and is fused with Shaoyishan. If they can be completely controlled by them and protected, and they are always located in the starry sky, then it is indeed their strong heritage. Seeing that Chen Shang was deep in thought, and his face became more and more serious, Shen Ningyi seemed to guess that Chen Shang knew something about the starry sky force. "Brother," Shen Ningyi called softly, "what's wrong?" Chen Shang shook his head and said, "I just have a rough idea of a euro who the star force is, but I'm not sure yet. And there are still many questions that bother me." Shen Ningyi hurriedly asked, "Who is the star force?" Chen Shang hesitated, and said, "Have you heard of Xuanzu and Mozu?" Shen Ningyi frowned lightly. She seemed to have heard about it, and then tried to remember it. After a while, she nodded and said, "I've heard someone mention it. By the way, Sister Kalian said it. Kalian has merged with Daozu, so Kalian once told Shen Ningyi that this is also normal." Chen Shang nodded and said, "Then has she ever talked about the demon ancestor and Zan ancestor?" Shen Ningyi said, "I once asked her to teach me how to practice, and then I asked some things about you by the way. Then she talked about Mozu and Zanzu, and she said that what she was most worried about was that Mozu and Zanzu were in Taichu heaven and earth. Make a mess. Those two guys are very strong, and the power of the starry sky belongs to them." Chen Shang sighed, and said, "Kalian should know them very well. Kalian has the soul of Dao ancestor in her body, so she knows very well that as long as Mozu and Xuanzu are still alive, they are a big threat. After all, they control Daishin." Chen Shang felt that Kalian must have been guarding against Demon Ancestor and Zan Ancestor. Maybe she also found Xiaoyao Ancestor and fused Xiaoyao Ancestor together. After merging with Xiaoyaozu, she will definitely be stronger. "Brother, do you think the Demon Ancestor and the Zan Ancestor will come?" Shen Ningyi also realized that the power of the starry sky is very terrifying. She has seen Kalian and knows that Kalian is a very powerful woman. She could feel that Kalian had a fear of Xuanzu and Mozu. In the 100 Flowers Temple, Shen Ningyi had come into contact with many powerful women, and she also knew that those women had a very close relationship with Chen Shang, but only Kalian gave her a special feeling. She seemed to be the strongest one. Chen Shang shook his head and said, "In this situation, Zanzu and Mozu won't come back, they have very powerful subordinates. Since each family has a big stargate coming, then we don't need to worry about this kind of thing." Shen Ningyi asked in a low voice, "Brother, in the 100 Flowers Temple, which sister-in-law is the strongest?" Chen Shang was stunned, and said with a dry smile, "I don't know either, haven't I been to the 100 Flowers Temple for a long time? Maybe, many of them are very strong, I don't know their situation at all." Chen Shang is not too worried about the overall strength of the 100 Flowers Temple, because they can understand the Tianquan alchemy, and in the primordial world, the Tianquan alchemy is the most brilliant alchemy. As long as they master it, they should be able to maintain the lead. Shen Ningyi said, "Brother, you said earlier that you had some doubts. What kind of doubts?" The white peacock just listened quietly, while paying attention to the surrounding situation. They are still far away from that stargate, and there are no people around, so they are still very safe. Chen Shang frowned immediately, and said, "It's those heavenly lions. This Tianxi ancient desolation should be a forbidden area. The monsters below must have been created by Demon Ancestor and Xuanzu, and they are indeed in their style. Who sealed it? What about the monsters they created?" Chen Shang is very familiar with Tianxi. It can be said that he has a deep relationship with him. So he suspected that these heavenly lions might have been created by an acquaintance of his, who was also very strong, and was secretly fighting against the demon ancestor Xuanzu. Looking at the group of huge lion mountains, Chen Shang became more and more certain that his acquaintances made them, which meant that in the starry sky, there was another mysterious and powerful force that was fighting against the demon ancestor Xuanzu. The reason why Tianshi Guhuang appeared was that strength was suppressed by demon ancestor and profound ancestor. Brother, more and more people are coming out of that stargate. Shen Ningyi said in a low voice. Those guys all look very strong, and they also have the divine power of the beginning of time, which means that even in the starry sky, their practice follows the heaven and earth of the beginning of time. Law. Chen Shang nodded and said, that's true, I don't know the overall strength of this group of guys. Hundreds of thousands of people came from the stargate one after another. At this moment, a huge black and red ship slowly sailed out of the stargate. The entire body of this huge ship is made of blood-red crystals, but it spews out black air, making it look extremely evil. The hundreds of thousands of people who came from the stargate suddenly knelt down in unison and shouted loudly, "Welcome Emperor Guiyuan." Hearing this name, Chen Shang frowned even tighter, and said in a low voice, "Is this guy still alive?" Emperor Guiyuan once made the Aoshi universe a mess, and he hasn't settled the account yet, and Emperor Guiyuan should have entered the Aoshi universe back then, and he was still the Emperor Guiyuan who merged to time and space. Chen Shang thought that Tianshuan domain spirit had killed Emperor Guiyuan, but he didn't expect this guy to have survived till now. Brother, do you know him? Shen Ningyi asked. That guy is too strong. Even if our Shen family came to deal with this hundreds of thousands of troops, it would be difficult for us to deal with it, and now that Guiyuan Emperor seems to be the leader of this group of guys. Quote. I know, but I don't know if he still remembers me. Chen Shang said. That bastard. It doesn't matter if he is still alive, then I will settle the old score with him. The white peacock also understood now that Chen Shang was from that time long ago, and he was still a strong man from that time. Today, some strong men from that period are active in the starry sky and form a super powerful force. Chen Shang said, Sister, you pass this news to the palace and father, and let them know who the starry sky force is. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5302, General Shao. Shen Ningyi nodded. Chen Shang met her eyes and found that she seemed to be thinking about something. Chen Shang asked, Little girl, what are you thinking? Shen Ningyi sighed, and said, Brother, I want to go to the stargate of the palace. If there are people I know, it's better to contact them directly, and learn something from them, or exchange information. Chen Shang thought for a moment, and said, Okay, then let's go to the stargate of the palace and see who the palace will send. Shen Ningyi smiled and said, Brother, I feel that our Shen Jiazhen might come. Chen Zhang's eyes lit up. He was looking forward to it, and asked, Will my old friend come? Shen Ningyi shook her head, and said, I don't know, the Shen family army has a lot to do. Many of your old friends are in the Shen family army, and they often act together with the Aoshi temple. I don't know who will come this time. Go and have a look and you'll know. I hope you have my old friends. Chen Shang was also very curious about who the palace would send over. He guessed that the palace might know something about the forces in the starry sky. Shen Shang, Shen Ningyi and Bai Peacock, the three of them left the stargate of the starry sky force and went to the stargate of the imperial palace. They didn't know which stargate belonged to the imperial palace, so they could only rely on guessing. Chen Zhang's guess was quite accurate, and he found the stargate of the imperial palace. They could see a large number of burly warriors in black armor coming from the stargate. When Shen Ningyi saw it from a distance, she shouted happily, It's our Shen family army, a lot of people. It seems that they are all below the 30th stage of the absolute beginning realm. There are a large number of people below the 30th stage of the absolute beginning realm, which means they have to fight with other monks. The armies are at war. If the number exceeds 30, the talent of the beginning will be awakened, and it will be restricted. If the number is less than 30, if the number is enough, it will form a terrible power. Chen Shang said, Those monsters seem to be unrestricted. Could it be that the real target of the palace is not those monsters? Could it be that they don't know about those monsters? Shen Ningyi quickened her pace, and said as she walked, Brother, let's go over and see who is leading the army. With this scale, it must be the core figure of the Shen family. Shen Ningyi and Bai Peacock walked in front, while Chen Shang took out his mask and put it on. Chen Shang was still a little worried. There was an inner ghost in the Shen family. If he was too high profile, the high-level officials of the Three Saints Church would know that he was here, and they might chase him down. After all, the Stargate had been opened now, and those high-level people thought that he was here. It's easy to come over. Chen Shang looked at the Stargate, and suddenly felt that he could directly go to the palace through the Stargate. Although Shen Ningyi is only using one avatar now, she has a token of the Shen family in her hand. When she and the White Peacock passed by, many soldiers indeed surrounded them. Even if she showed her token, those soldiers didn't know it, because they had never seen it before. Fortunately, a middle-aged man appeared and recognized the token, so he brought Shen Ningyi and the others to a large tent. After entering, Chen Shang saw a handsome bald young man with a stern face, looking cool, standing in the tent. This is the God General Shao that the middle-aged man was talking about. Seeing this bald head, Chen Shang couldn't help but want to knock on it, because this bald young man is his apprentice Xiao Chu. He didn't know what kind of cultivation level Xiao Chu was, but he was able to do well in the Shen family. Sister Shen, why are you here? Is it just a clone? This matter doesn't seem to require Wang Ju's participation. After Xiao Chu saw Shen Ningyi, he was also very surprised. Just now he had a stern face and a very dignified look, but now he became a lot more timid, and forced a smile on his face. Did the palace send you here? Shen Ningyi asked, but she didn't say that Chen Shang was beside her. Xiao Chu just glanced at Chen Shang and the White Peacock, and didn't notice that Chen Shang was there. Chen Shang wore a mask on his face, although his eyes were exposed, but because Xiao Chu hadn't seen Chen Shang for many years, he didn't remember his master. Xiao Chu said, "Our Shen family army takes the lead, and it has always been like this. After we confirm the situation here, the Aoshi Temple and Baihua Temple will come one after another." Chen Shang deliberately said in a hoarse voice, "How much do you know about the situation here?" Xiao Chu glanced at Chen Shang, and said, "Sister Shen, who is this person? Why is there a man beside you? Does Uncle Shen know?" Uncle Shen in Xiao Chu's mouth is Chen Zhang's father, Shen Tianyu. Shen Ningyi knew that Xiao Chu and Chen Shang were in a master-student relationship, but she didn't say it out, but said, "You just answer his question." Xiao Chu said, "I don't know much. Uncle Shen knows a lot, but he asked me to take a look at the situation first, saying that there might be some difficult things to deal with. A desperate guy like me is not afraid of that kind of thing. Euro." Chen Shang was secretly shocked. Chen Tianyu actually knew about those monsters. That was most likely calculated by Huang Jintian. "Will Huang Jintian come?" Chen Shang asked again. If he could see Huang Jintian, Chen Shang would be able to ask many things. Xiao Chu frowned, then patted his bald head, and said, "Who the asterisk are you? Do you know who the name you call is?" "I know, it's your master's master. You answer me quickly, will Huang Jintian come? When will he come?" Chen Shang wished he could go to find Huang Jintian through the Stargate immediately. No, he went to the starry sky. Xiao Chu looked at Shen Ningyi after finishing speaking, and asked, "Sister Shen, who is this guy?" Chen Shang walked over, quickly stretched out his hand and patted Xiao Chu's head, then laughed and cursed, "Little bald head, you don't even remember who I am." Xiao Chu was stunned for a moment. The White Peacock was also shocked, because she knew that God General Shao was very powerful and very famous. In the imperial palace and the major royal cities, God General Shao was a strong man admired by many people. This divine General Shao is actually Chen Zhang's apprentice. Moreover, Chen Shang dared to hit God General Shao's bald head directly. If someone else did this, he would have been blasted to ashes by Xiao Chu long ago. "Master, you, really you?" Xiao Chu watched Chen Shang take off his mask with an expression of disbelief. "What?" Chen Shang put away the mask and said with a smile, "I can recognize you even when you turn into ashes, but now I'm just wearing a mask, so you don't know me." Xiao Chu shouted, "That's not right, you should be in the Yin realm in the early days, and you should be in the Taiyan starry sky. Lao Huang went to the Taiyan starry sky just to find you." Chen Shang asked, "There is also a starry sky in the underworld in the early days. When did Master go there?" Xiao Chu nodded and said, "It's been more than 2 years." Chen Shang stroked his forehead and said, "The old lunatic probably made a mistake, let's ignore him. I'm going to the palace from the Stargate now, can you take me there?" Xiao Chu looked at Chen Shang and Shen Ningyi with an embarrassed face, then shook his head and said, "I can't go to the palace now." "Why?" Shen Ningyi and Chen Shang asked at the same time. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5303, Calamity of the Holy Land. Xiao Chu didn't answer right away, but scratched his head, his eyes dodged, not daring to look at Chen Shang and Shen Ningyi. I can't say it. Xiao Chu seemed to have something hard to say. Shen Ningyi hurriedly asked, did something happen to the palace? I contacted the palace from time to time, but I didn't say anything major happened. With majesty in Chen Zhang's eyes, he said, you brat, tell me quickly, if someone pursues you, I will take responsibility. Xiao Chu sighed. The imperial palace is gone. There are ruins there now. The main reason is that the statue of the queen suddenly appeared, and then turned the holy land of the queen into ruins. Ah, why is this happening? Then where did you come from? Shen Ningyi's eyes widened in disbelief. Although the holy land of the empress was turned into ruins, there were no casualties. The main reason was the sudden earthquake, and then the statue of the empress appeared very hot, so everyone had to stay away from the holy land of the empress. Xiao Chu said, I have been following Uncle Shen. He arranged for us to come here. Anyway, everyone is in contact and planning something. Chen Shang looked at the Stargate and said, then I'll go there. Can I see my father? Xiao Chu shook his head and said, Uncle Shen left after he opened the Stargate, and he didn't say where he was going. Anyway, those big bosses seem to be busy with some very secret things. Shen Ningyi said, brother, don't worry about the palace for now. The things here are also very important, don't forget what's here. Taurus has the God Tree of Absolute Beginning. Since Xiao Chu was sent here, he should also know about Taurus. Xiao Chu, did Daddy tell you about the things here? Chen Shang asked, for example, is there anything important in this place? Xiao Chu nodded, and said with a serious expression, Uncle Shen said that there is a sacred tree of the beginning in this place. And this tree of the beginning is very special, it is more powerful than all the gods of the beginning, so my task is very important. Shen Ningyi said, brother, since that's the case, then let's not disturb the old man's arrangement. He arranged for Xiao Chu to come, and he must have given Xiao Chu many things. If we intervene, it will mess up the old man's and Xiao Chu's arrangement. Quote. Chen Shang nodded and said, I know this, I won't interfere. Xiao Chu seemed relieved. He was also worried that Chen Shang would take over, and he didn't know how to explain to Chen Tianyu at that time. Shen Ningyi asked, Xiao Chu, can you contact Dad now? Xiao Chu shook his head and said, I can't get in touch. Only he can contact me. He said that he will contact me for a fixed period of time to inquire about the situation here. Chen Shang asked, how long will you stay here? Xiao Chu thought for a while and said, I'm not sure yet. Anyway, I will stay for a while. Uncle Shen said that he will come over in person after a while, but he didn't say how long it will be. Okay, then you stay here first, and I will come to you again. Chen Shang patted Xiao Chu on the shoulder, and then told Xiao Chu what happened in Tianxi ancient wasteland and how terrifying those monsters were. After Xiao Chu heard it, not only did he not feel fear, but he also looked very excited. This made Chen Shang quite speechless. Chen Shang and Shen Ningyi don't plan to stay here any longer, because with their current strength, staying here is useless. And they are worried that after the Stargate is opened, there will be many powerful forces approaching the holy city of Taurus, so they have to go back quickly. Palace Master Zhao King doesn't know what's going on here, and they need to let Palace Master Zhao King know as soon as possible. The white peacock turned into a big peacock and flew in the air, carrying Chen Shang and Shen Ningyi back to the holy city of Jinyu. Shen Ningyi said, Sister Peacock is driving us back. We should be able to return to the holy city of Taurus soon. I don't know if there will be a special team to go to the holy city of Taurus after those big stargates are opened. There is Palace Master Zhao King in the holy city of Taurus, and there is a passage leading to the star core space. If you want to go in and see the divine tree of absolute beginning, you must pass through the holy city of Taurus. What's more, if the sacred tree of absolutism grows, it will also be in an area near the holy city of Jinyu. Brother, what are you thinking? Shen Ningyi asked when she saw Chen Shang lying down and thinking. At this moment, Chen Shang was lying on the soft and comfortable feathers of the white peacock, and his eyes were closed, as if he was asleep. He could feel the warm primordial divine power of the white peacock, and at the same time the strange fragrance from the white peacock, which made him concentrate on thinking more. Sister, we can't intervene in the ancient battlefield of Tianxi. We are very powerless in the face of this kind of battlefield. Chen Shang said, What if there are more and more such battlefields in the future? What should we do? Shen Ningyi sighed helplessly. I can't help it. My cultivation base is too low. I feel that everyone's level should be about the same, but why are some people's cultivation bases so high? I heard that there are a group of people who are already at the beginning stage. It weighs 100. Chen Shang said. What realm is after the absolute beginning realm? Shen Ningyi shook her head and said, I don't know, maybe after the birth of the Taichu world, no one has been able to cross the realm after the Taichu realm. Chen Shang sat up, looked into the distance, and said, absolute beginning realm is 100 levels, how far is it to you? Shen Ningyi's cultivation level is 68, but she said, it's too far away. I don't know if it's because my talent is too poor, it always feels difficult to break through. Chen Shang asked again, what is Xiao Chao's cultivation? Shen Ningyi thought for a while, and said, it seems that he just weighed 70. He is considered very strong. General Xiao Shen has a great reputation. Chen Shang frowned and said, as 70 weight's already strong. But I feel that Xiao Chu can't beat the 8-clawed demon. Shen Ningyi said, anyway, the higher you go, the more you need to understand. My understanding is a bit weaker. Chen Shang took Shen Ningyi back to the holy city of Taurus, came to the interior of the Taichu Academy, and then entered the Star Core space, and found a clone of Palace Master Zhao King. They told Palace Master Zhao King about the ancient desolation of Tianqi, the little girl avatar. After Palace Master Zhao King finished listening, her expression was extremely solemn, and she was silent for a long time before she said, how much time do we have? Chen Shang said, I don't know, maybe in a few days, those guys will come. After all, several big stargates have been opened, they will definitely arrange some people to come here to have a look, and even try to attack the city. Palace Master Zhao King took a deep breath and said, then our time is running out. Chen Shang said, there are not many left, so we must cheer up. Zhao King, we must seize the time to take down the divine tree of absolute beginning. Palace Mistress Zhao King frowned and said, how do you take it? After finishing speaking, she looked at the straight giant tree that seemed to have reached the top of the space. Chen Shang said, we have to let this tree grow quickly, so that we can communicate with the divine tree. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. Do you like this site? Donate here. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5304, Double Truth. Palace Master Zhao King has been studying this sacred tree of absolute beginning all day these days, but no matter what, she just can't get close to it and touch it, so she has nothing to do. As for what Chen Shang said about taking down the sacred tree, she felt that it was a fantasy. In her opinion, it was simply impossible to do it. Palace Master Zhao King shook her head and sighed. Brother, we can't put everything on the divine tree of absolute beginning. This tree is not reliable at all. I know that the divine tree of absolute beginning is very powerful, but it can't be used by us at all. Palace Master Zhao King could see that Chen Shang seemed to be putting everything on the sacred tree of absolute beginning, and hoped to obtain powerful power through the sacred tree of absolute beginning to protect the entire Golden Bull Holy City. It is precisely because the Lord of the Absolute Beginning Academy Palace is Shao Qing that Chen Shang is very sure that he can control the Absolute Beginning Divine Tree. If it were someone else, Chen Shang would not have such thoughts. Palace Master Zhao King didn't know that she was the clone of Empress Qingxing, but Chen Shang and Shen Ningyi knew it. Chen Shang even believed that it was Empress Qingxing who used some kind of power to make Taurus Star appear in the Divine Tree of Absolute Beginning, and she paid a huge price for it. He was just guessing before, but he learned that the Queen's Holy Land, where the palace is located, suddenly suffered a huge disaster, which turned the very vast Queen's Holy Land into ruins, which was also caused by the power released by the Queen's statue. Chen Shang also asked Shen Ningyi that this kind of thing had never happened in the Holy Land of the Empress before, and since the Holy Land of the Empress is so large and the statue of the Empress has such a wide range, it must be that Qingxing worked secretly. As for why he did this, Chen Shang I still do not know yet. Shen Ningyi said from the side, Zhao King, you are the palace master, you can definitely do it. If this tree grows in your territory, it belongs to you. Have some confidence in yourself. Palace Master Zhao King shook her head and sighed. You don't understand, that tree is not humane, it doesn't allow people to get close to it at all, once touched, it will be wiped out, and this kind of self-protection power is getting stronger and stronger. Quote. She looked at Chen Shang with a look of embarrassment. She only hoped that Chen Shang would not place all her hopes on her and the sacred tree, because she didn't think it was hope, and there was no possibility at all. She has feelings for Jinyu Holy City because many people in the city support her. Many star beasts and star demons in the Taurus continent are on her side. If the Taurus Holy City is breached, these star beasts and star demons will be slaughtered. Palace Master Zhao King only hopes that Chen Shang can have a reliable countermeasure, which can make her feel at ease. After all, she now regards Chen Shang as her own man, and she has become very helpless, even a little desperate. She sincerely hopes that Chen Shang can help her. Chen Shang could see Palace Mistress Zhao King's help-seeking and desperate eyes, which looked a little pitiful. Xiao Qing, I want to have a private talk with your main body. Chen Shang said, there are some things I have to tell you. As soon as Shen Ningyi heard it, she knew that Chen Shang planned to tell Palace Master Zhao King the truth, but she didn't say anything, because she also thought that the divine tree of absolute beginning might be related to Queen Qingxing, so it would be better for Palace Master Zhao King to know the truth. Palace Master Zhao King nodded. After Shen Ningyi and Bai Peacock left the Star Core space, Chen Shang waited here for the main body of Palace Master Zhao King. Not long after, the deity of Palace Master Zhao King with long silver white hair came. The people who work here in Yaoshan are all my avatars. There is no one else. You can just say it. Palace Master Zhao King looked around. Although there are many medicine fields here, and many women are working hard in the medicine fields, but they are all clones of Palace Master Zhao King. Chen Shang remembered that the old skinny ghost had sneaked in before, so the Star Core space was not completely safe. Chen Shang took Palace Master Zhao King away from the medicine field, and ran in the vast white Star Core space. This place was empty and vast, and after leaving the medicine field, the surroundings were empty and white. He released the Immortal War Xuanmo Pagoda, and dragged Palace Master Zhao King in. Brother, I miss you so much. After being alone with Chen Shang, Palace Mistress Zhao King couldn't suppress her inner emotions, and quickly hugged Chen Shang and kissed her. Palace Mistress Zhao King not only misses Chen Shang, but at the same time, she is under enormous pressure, and her heart is even full of fear, so she longs for a warm embrace very much. Chen Shang hugged Palace Master Zhao King intimately in a room in the Immortal War Xuanmo Tower, and the two had been affectionately together for a long time. After waking up, Chen Shang looked at the beauties beside him, feeling very complicated in his heart. He didn't tell Palace Mistress Zhao King about her being Qingxing's avatar. He had decided to say it before, but now he hesitated. Because he was a little worried that Palace Master Zhao King would have other random thoughts after knowing about this. Palace Master Zhao King opened her eyes, lay on her side and looked at Chen Shang, said with a smile, why are you so sad? Could it be that I'm too barbaric? Xiao Qing, you are also cultivating avatars. Some of your avatars have independent thoughts. What do you think of these avatars? What kind of emotion do you have towards them? Chen Shang asked seriously. How should I put it? Like relatives, more like my sister. Anyway, I love them very much, and after staying with them for a long time, I don't want to deprive them of their personality and thoughts. If we deprive them of their unique personality and thought, that would be no different than killing them. Palace Master Zhao King also answered seriously, and then asked back, brother, why are you asking this? You also want to practice avatar? Chen Shang shook his head and said, Zhao King, have you ever thought that you are someone's clone? Palace Master Zhao King lay flat and looked at the ceiling, opened her eyes wide and thought about it, and then said, I have thought about it, because I don't have parents, and I seem to be created, I also feel that I am a little different. Brother, do you know something? Regarding this point, Palace Mistress Zhao King is quite sensitive. She herself has cultivated many avatars, so she sometimes thinks wildly. Zhao King, you are the avatar of Queen Qingxing. I guess, most of the masters of Taichu Academy Palace are her avatars. Chen Shang said. This is impossible. Palace Mistress Zhao King sat up in shock. I have thought that I might be a clone, but I have never thought that I am the queen's clone. The queen seems to have abandoned me. Chen Shang got up and put the clothes on her body, and said earnestly, this matter is very complicated. I guess all the trees of absolute beginning were created by the queen, and you are here. Maybe because she met me, she created the god of absolute beginning tree. Wait, if I were the queen's generation, it would be impossible to develop such a relationship with a man. When I created my clones, even if they have independent personalities, deep in their souls, they will not be emotional with other men. This is a soul contract I set up, and the avatar cannot violate the contract. When the Empress created the avatar, it must be like this. Palace Mistress Zhao King shook her head again and again, still unable to accept that she was the clone of Empress Qingxing. World-defying Dan God Chapter 5305, Thousand Gates Illusion Array. Chen Shang looked at Palace Master Zhao King, shook his head and sighed. Zhao King, to tell you the truth, Queen Qingxing and I once had an experience. Palace Master Zhao King was stunned when she heard this, and she didn't believe it even more. In her eyes, Queen Qingxing was aloof, and there was no man worthy of the queen. Even Chen Shang is not worthy of her. She also knows that Chen Shang is a ***** who stares at her clones all day long, but she never thought that Chen Shang actually fell in love with Queen Qingxing. I still don't believe it. Palace Master Zhao King shook her head and said, this is all your guess. You are even more unlikely to be the queen's man. I know you are lying to me, and I hope I can have the confidence to face the next difficulties, but I really can't do it, the current situation is too complicated. Originally, Palace Master Zhao King thought that the enemies were only the Three Saints sect and the Star King forces. Although she was still invincible, because the headquarters of the Three Saints sect and the Star King forces were far away from here, it would be many years before they came. It will grow in time. She originally thought that she would face only the middle and low-level forces of the Three Saints sect and the Star King forces, but now a mysterious and powerful Starry Sky force has emerged, and this force seems to be far stronger than the Three Saints sect and the Star King forces. Superior. What's even more terrible is that the forces of the Three Saints and the Star Kings are now opening a large star gate to the Taurus continent at all costs, which means that the armies of the Three Saints and the Star Kings will soon be able to attack the holy city of Taurus. Palace Master Zhao King is very clear about the current situation in the Taurus holy city. If the enemy attacks, they will not be able to stop it for long, so she is very desperate. Chen Shang put his hands on Palace Master Zhao King's shoulders and said seriously, Zhao King, you must believe me. Palace Master Zhao King sighed. Okay, I will do whatever you ask me to do next, and I will listen to you. But I still don't believe the nonsense you said before. You said that I am the queen's clone. You are the Queen Euro's man, so you must provide evidence, otherwise I will not accept this statement. Palace Master Zhao King still wants to be herself, but she is also worried that because she is the queen's clone, she is afraid that the queen will take her back, and then she will be dead. Although Palace Master Zhao King said she didn't believe it, her beautiful eyes were full of melancholy and sadness, and she looked very depressed. Xiao Qing, I know what you are worried about. Don't worry, Qingxing should know that you are with me, so she will not take back your clone. Chen Shang said, what we have to do now is to find a way to contact Qingxing, since you are her clone, there should be some kind of connection between you. Palace Master Zhao King frowned and said, brother, why do you think she knows you are with me? Chen Shang said, my intuition. Go and try and see if you can contact Qingxing. Palace Master Zhao King tried to call her true self with very complicated emotions. She has cultivated many clones herself, so she knows very well that there is a connection between the clones and the original body that spans space. A few hours later, Palace Master Zhao King shook her head. Brother, there is no movement. I should not be the queen's clone. Chen Shang said. Xiao Qing, when I slept with you before, I felt a strong sense of familiarity, so I thought you were Qingxing's clone. Palace Master Zhao King curled her lips and said, don't say such disrespectful words to the queen. If anyone knows about it, you will be miserable. I don't believe you. Chen Shang hugged Palace Master Zhao King and said with a smile, then let's not think about anything else now and have a good sleep first. Bad guy. Palace Master Zhao King laughed angrily, pinched Chen Zhang's arm, and then the two of them hugged each other to sleep. After waking up, Chen Shang said, Xiao Qing, I want to enter the depths of your soul. Maybe I can find a way to contact Qingxing. You are her clone, and there must be a trace of her soul deep in your soul. Okay, I will listen to you in everything now. Palace Master Zhao King said with a smile. Come on, let's take a bath while we do it. Take a comfortable bath and relax first. I hope everything will be fine. The current Palace Master Zhao King just wants to put all kinds of worries behind her and have a good time. Chen Shang carried Palace Master Zhao King into the bath, then held her in his arms and soaked in the warm and comfortable water. He put his hand on Palace Master Zhao King's head and whispered, Zhao King, I'm going to enter the depths of your soul, relax. Yeah, Palace Master Zhao King closed her eyes and relaxed herself to the extreme. Chen Shang is already very familiar with entering the depths of other people's souls, but this time entering the depths of Palace Master Zhao King's soul, he had a completely different experience from before. First of all, after entering, he came to the spiritual world of Zhaoqing Palace Master's soul. Here was a vast white lobby with thousands of doors on the four walls. This means that the depths of Zhaoqing Palace Master's soul have been specially transformed. When outsiders come in, they will come to this place, but Zhaoqing Palace Master's consciousness will not see so many doors after entering. Shao Qing, there are many doors here. Your consciousness has entered the depths of your soul, is this how it is? Chen Shang described what he saw to Palace Master Zhaoqing. The voice of Palace Master Zhaoqing came into Chen Zhang's mind and said, "No. The depths of my soul are still relatively empty. The situation you mentioned did not occur. It is really strange. Why is this happening? I have never set these in the depths of my soul. €. Chen Shang took a deep breath and said, "I'll try it and all the doors will open." Chen Zhang's consciousness drifted over and opened a door. After opening it, the door led to another hall. There were thousands of doors on the four walls of that hall, and then he opened another door in that hall, which led to another hall, and that hall also had thousands of doors. Chen Shang was immediately blinded. This way, it would be impossible for him to pry into the depths of Zhaoqing Palace Master's soul because it was blocked by these mechanisms. He told Palace Master Zhaoqing what he had discovered, and she also found it incredible. After some attempts, Chen Shang entered hundreds of halls, each hall was exactly the same with thousands of doors, and finally he decided to give up. His consciousness withdrew from the depths of Zhaoqing Palace Master's soul, and then Zhaoqing Palace Master decided to merge with his consciousness so that she might be able to guide him. Chen Shang and Palace Master Zhaoqing were hugging each other tightly in the water. In addition, the two had already established a very close relationship and trusted each other, so their consciousness and soul could be perfectly integrated. Chen Shang once again entered the depths of Palace Master Zhaoqing's soul and came directly to a hall just like before. That's true. Palace Master Zhaoqing now also saw the appearance of this hall with her own eyes. That door, Palace Master Zhaoqing said, "My intuition tells me that I should open that door." Chen Shang walked over and opened it, and found that it led to another hall. That hall also had thousands of doors. This, Palace Master Zhaoqing pointed to another door for Chen Shang to open. "Brother, this seems to be called the 10,000 Gates Illusion Array. You have to pass through 9 or 81 gates correctly to successfully exit the array." World Defying Dan God Chapter 5306, Mysterious Star Lord. Palace Master Zhaoqing's own consciousness cannot enter this place. Only after the consciousness of outsiders enters the depths of her soul will the 10,000 Doors Illusion Array appear. This 10,000 Doors Illusion Array is so cleverly set up. I can't get in by myself. I have to rely on others to guide me. Palace Master Zhaoqing led the way. She was a little shaken in her heart and believed that she was the clone of Queen Qingxing. Chen Shang said, "Shao Qing, you are the key to the 10,000 Gates Illusion Array. Only with your permission can I enter the depths of your soul, and only if you follow me voluntarily can I take you into the 10,000 Gates Illusion Array. This means the person who can enter the 10,000 Gates Illusion Array with you is someone you trust very much, and you also know that there is something fishy here." Palace Master Zhaoqing murmured, "Is all this arranged by the Queen? She has already calculated that I will meet you." She didn't believe in the relationship between Chen Shang and Qingxing before, but now she somewhat believes it because Chen Shang seems to know Qingxing very well. Chen Shang nodded and said, "Yes. As long as we pass through the 10,000 Doors Illusion Array, we should be able to access the consciousness she left deep in your soul. We should be able to know something by then." Palace Master Zhaoqing held Chen Zhang's hand and walked through the phantom array of thousands of doors, saying, "Brother, there are still many doors to go here. Can you tell me on the way how you and the Queen met?" Chen Shang said, "When I met her, she was not the Queen. At that time, she was just a star, very powerful, and she also had a brother, but later her brother died. She and her brother were very naive at that time, did not listen to my advice, and then were killed. I saw that they were stupid and naive, so I followed them, and finally I took action to save her." Chen Shang briefly talked about how he and Qingxing met. Qingxing and his two older brothers were killed by people from the Celestial Being Temple. That man was called Wubai, and he is still alive now, and he is also in the Celestial Being Temple. Chen Shang had asked Palace Master Zhaoqing before if he had heard of Ji Wubei. Palace Master Zhaoqing also said that Ji Wubei was a powerful warrior in the Temple of Heaven and Man. After listening to Chen Zhang's narration about his experience of meeting Qingxing, Palace Master Zhaoqing was greatly shocked and found it difficult to understand, Since it was Ji Wubei who killed the queen's brother, why didn't the queen take revenge? Ji Wubei is still alive. Yes. Of course, Palace Master Zhao King remembered that Chen Shang once asked her about Ji Wubei, but she didn't expect it to be for this reason. Chen Shang shook his head and said, I am also very confused, so I am anxious to go to Qingxing to ask, so I need the Star Gate. Maybe, deep in your soul, I can find Qingxing's meaning and relieve my worries. Be confused. Palace Master Zhao King whispered. Brother, it seems that you were a big shot back then. In that case, you single-handedly made Queen Qingxing. Chen Shang shook his head and said, it was Taichu heaven and earth who chose her. Many things that will happen after that are beyond my control. This is the last door. Palace Master Zhao King brought Chen Zhang's consciousness to a door and said, after opening it, it should lead to the deepest part of my soul. Chen Shang nodded and said, open it. The 10,000 doors magic array here can only be opened correctly by Palace Master Zhao King. After Chen Shang tried to open it, Palace Master Zhao King said that after entering, he would return to the first door, then close it and open it again, to lead to the next hall. After Zhao King Palace Master opened the door, there turned out to be an elegant small courtyard and a 3-story wooden building. Qingxing, Chen Shang shouted softly after entering. Brother Shen, you are finally here. I have been waiting for you for a long time. Qingxing's light and gentle voice came. Chen Shang and Palace Master Zhao King hurriedly entered the small building. Where are you? Chen Shang shouted hurriedly. Palace Master Zhao King was also quite excited, because that was indeed the voice of Queen Qingxing, and it was also very gentle, a tenderness she had never felt before. Brother Shen, the ray of soul I left behind is getting weaker and weaker, and there is no longer enough soul to maintain its form. Qingxing said. But it doesn't matter, I still have enough power to talk to you. Palace Master Zhao King was silent. Her mood was naturally very complicated, but she was not too depressed or sad. Instead, she was secretly excited, and she didn't know why. Chen Shang asked, Qingxing, where are you? Qingxing's voice seemed to come softly from all directions, saying, I don't know where I am. The wisp of soul I left here retains some memories about me before I met Zhao King for the last time. Chen Shang said, in other words, you only left a very small part of your memory. Qingxing replied, yes, if I retain too many memories, I'm worried that confusion will occur and Zhao King's soul will be destroyed. It would be an uncomfortable feeling. Zhao King suddenly asked, Queen, am I really your clone? Qingxing laughed softly and said, Xiao Qing, yes and no. You yourself also practice avatars. You should understand that our relationship is more like sisters. I have many avatars. You can meet Brother Shen, which means this is your opportunity. €. Xiao Qing now also understands why she wants to call Chen Shang, brother, in her heart. It turns out that Queen Qingxing also calls Chen Shang Brother Shen. Chen Shang asked, Qingxing, the current situation is quite complicated, so I came to you in this way. I hope you can give us some instructions. The world of Taichu is too complicated, I can't understand it. Qingxing said, Brother Shen, tell me about the situation you are facing now. Chen Shang and Palace Master Zhao King complimented each other and talked about Taurus. After Qingxing heard this, he was silent for a while and said, I should have made that supreme beginning divine tree. Since the Queen's holy land has been destroyed, it is inseparable. In order to create this supreme beginning divine tree, I had to not sleeping, but also consuming a lot of energy in the Queen's holy land, leading to disasters in the Queen's holy land. Chen Shang had guessed it before, but Palace Master Zhao King was shocked when she heard that the Queen's holy land was actually destroyed. We need to control the sacred tree to protect the holy city of Taurus, but we have no clue now. Chen Shang said, if possible, it is best to control the star core of Taurus. Qingxing said, Brother Shen, the earth stars and sky stars in the Taichu heaven and earth are different from those in the ancient purgatory. These sky stars and earth stars all have star owners. These so-called star owners mean that they all have ideology. They can all turn into humans. So it is impossible to control them, and even, sometimes these star owners will deliberately create things on the stars to relieve their boredom. Chen Shang frowned when he heard this and said, don't these star masters need to practice? Qingxing said, of course it is necessary. The Taichu divine tree is of great help to the star lord's practice, so the current owners of the Taichu divine tree are all star lords. But, the Star Lord will reach an agreement with me and will sell part of the Taichu divine tree, fruit. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5307, Emperor Taichu. The divine tree of Taichu is actually controlled by the Star Lord. Chen Shang found it difficult to understand this. Palace Master Zhao King also asked, Sister Queen, I seem to have heard that some of the divine trees of absolute beginning are in the hands of the Three Saints sect and the Star King forces. What is going on? Logically speaking, the birth of these divine trees of absolute beginning is Ida Euro-S related to you. Why do you say Ida Euro-S theirs? A Euro. Qingxing said. Well, speaking of which, I am also helpless. Because those Star Lords have betrayed their faith. The Three Saints sect and the Star King ask less for the divine fruit from the Star Lord's sacred tree, and they also promise the Star Lord a lot of benefits. Ida Euro-S equivalent to them buying the divine fruit from the Star Master. A Euro. After Chen Shang heard this, he immediately became angry, because he knew that these Taichu divine trees were cultivated by Qingxing with great pains, and yet they were fooled like this. Is there no contract or something? Chen Shang said in a deep voice. Those guys have gone too far. We can't let them go. I also planned to sign a contract with the Star Master before, but they were not willing to sign it. They only made verbal promises, but I didn't expect it to turn out like this. Qingxing sighed. There is no way, whoever lets them control the earth and stars Ida Euro-S very big. Anyway, I got a lot of magical fruits, so Ida Euro-S not a loss. A Euro. Chen Shang wrote down this account in his mind, and then asked, what about this Taurus star? Will this star owner betray him? Qingxing said, I don't know. I just promised that I would come as promised. I felt your existence through Zhao King, so I placed the tree seeds on Taurus. Taurus is a relatively weak star. This will also facilitate your cooperation. A Euro. Chen Shang now also understands Qingxing's intention. It can be said that this sacred tree of the beginning is given to Chen Shang, and it is up to him to talk to the Star Lord next. Because the Taurus star is relatively weak, the Star Master here is not strong, so naturally he will not be that strong. The Lord of Taurus must know that if he wants to retain control of the divine tree of absolute beginning, he cannot rely on himself alone. The forces that snatch the sacred tree must have a very powerful force that can threaten such a weak Star Master. Palace Master Zhao King asked, Sister Queen, how do we find the Star Master? Qingxing said, originally, I had to wait for my true self to wake up before I could find the Star Lord to talk to him, but this is the first time I have created such a powerful Taichu divine tree, so my true self needs to rest for a long time. The next step is just you can rely on yourselves. The Star Master is in the Taurus star. How to find the Star Master himself? I don't Euro-T have any good ideas. Chen Shang asked again. After finding the Star Master, will this guy agree to cooperate with us? Qingxing said, I should agree. This Star Master is not strong, so he will naturally have his own concerns, so he will not have the exclusive use of the Taichu divine tree. Qingxing, that Ji Wubai is still alive, why don't you kill him? Chen Shang has always wanted to ask about this. Have you been subject to any restrictions after becoming the queen? Qingxing sighed softly and said, yes, because of the limitations of the Taichu talent I obtained, I cannot kill. And besides me, it is difficult for anyone to kill Ji Wubai. Let's not talk about this. By the way, Brother Shen, what is your Taichu talent? Are there any restrictions? Qingxing is quite curious about this matter. It means accelerating time and having certain control over time. As for the limitations, they can be ignored. Chen Shang did not tell Qingxing that he could integrate other people's Taichu talents, because this was too unnatural. What a pity, it's not a talent for strength. It means you won't be able to fight, but that's fine, Emperor Taichu doesn't want everyone to fight and kill in the first place. Qingxing sighed. Emperor Taichu, what is this? Chen Shang asked hurriedly. The person who was transformed by the Taoism of Taichu heaven and earth is Taichu Emperor. Although the formation of Taichu heaven and earth is related to you and me, after all, it was formed by our strength, so the master of Taichu heaven and earth is Taichu Tiandi. Qingxing said, I only communicated with Emperor Taichu once. Chen Shang had guessed before that the great laws of Taichu heaven and earth were very brilliant, but he didn't expect that he had turned into a human being. Suddenly cold sweat broke out on his back, because he had discovered some secrets before, allowing himself to obtain powerful talents, which destroyed the laws of Taichu heaven and earth. Qingxing's voice suddenly became much weaker. Brother Shen, the soul I left behind is already very weak and needs to sleep now. You will definitely see me again, and I hope I can talk to you freely by then. Because Taichu's talent is due to many restrictions, many matters related to spiritual practice cannot be discussed in detail with you. I know, let's wait until we meet before we talk. Maybe my cultivation level will be very high by then, Chen Shang said with a smile. Qingxing's voice didn't come again, and the soul had fallen into a deep sleep. Chen Shang and Palace Master Zhao King looked at each other, and then their consciousness retreated from the depths of Palace Master Zhao King's soul. Back in reality, Chen Shang and Palace Master Zhao King were still hugging each other tightly and soaking in the water. Seeing that Palace Master Zhao King was still immersed in a dream, Chen Shang kissed her red lips and said with a smile, "Do you believe me now?" "Okay, it's really surprising. It was you and the Queen's sister who brought about Taichu heaven and earth together." Palace Master Zhao King was shocked by this. Chen Shang smiled, hugged her in his arms, caressed her face and said, "Xiao Qing, we have to find the Star Master quickly." Palace Master Zhao King had a headache and complained a few times, "Where can I find it? The star Taurus is so big, and the Queen's sister didn't give us any clues. The consciousness that Qingxing left in your soul was many years ago. It's normal for her not to know." Chen Shang said. "Don't worry, I have a clue. When I was in the star core space, I had been with Xingchen. To make a transaction, it must be that the Star Master is secretly making a deal with me. In order to obtain death energy, he had sent the power of Taoism to the Star Lord in exchange. He always thought that this Taurus star was trading with him. Now that he learned about the existence of Star Lord from Qingxing, he was sure that it was Star Lord who had secretly dealt with him before. The Star Master of Taurus is practicing, and he is practicing quite hard, otherwise he wouldn't be able to exchange the power of Taoism with Chen Shang. Through his previous trading experience, Chen Shang can confirm that it is very difficult to obtain the power of Taoism. It is difficult for even a Star Master to cultivate it, otherwise he would not trade with Chen Shang. We will go to the Star Core space in a moment. Chen Shang was very confident now and said, "After meeting the Star Lord, even if the Star Lord does not give us the Divine Tree of Absolute Beginning, he can at least help us to keep it. Holy City of Taurus. €. I feel more relieved after talking to Sister Queen. Sister Queen values €you very much and knows that you will definitely have a way to contact her through our clones." Palace Master Zhao King could tell from Qingxing's previous words that the Taichu Divine Tree under the Taurus star was what she had prepared for Chen Shang. Whether he can save and obtain this Divine Tree of Absolute Beginning depends on Chen Zhang's ability. Obviously, Queen Qingxing thinks that Chen Shang has this ability. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5308, Lord of Taurus. Chen Shang began to think seriously about how to contact the star owner of Taurus. Qingxing could easily contact him because he was a star in the Queen. Qingxing actually didn't know how others could establish contact with the Star Master. If she had known, she would have told Chen Shang long ago, so she could only let Chen Shang find a way on his own. When Palace Master Zhao King and Chen Shang came out of the bath, they didn't say much because Chen Shang had been thinking of a way. He only had some clues to contact Star Master now and still needed to try. Palace Master Zhao King did not continue to disturb Chen Shang. She also wanted to practice. After communicating with Queen Qingxing and confirming that she was the clone of Queen Qingxing, Palace Master Zhao King's state of mind was greatly affected, and she longed for strength even more, the power of. When Chen Shang met and talked with Qingxing, Sister Xiaojing didn't know, but Chen Shang also told her in detail. After listening to this, Sister Xiaojing sighed. "I didn't expect, this Taichu world is so complicated. Qingxing still has many things that she hasn't said yet. On the one hand, it's the time limit, and on the other hand, Taichu's talent has restricted her and doesn't allow her. Talk about high cultivation. It seems that there are some forbidden secrets in Taichu heaven and earth, so we can only go out and dig out them ourselves." Chen Shang is still in the star core space, and the place where he is also very empty, surrounded by a vast expanse of white. "Brother, you should have a way to contact the Star Master, right?" Sister Xiaojing asked. "If you can't contact the Star Master of Taurus, the holy city of Taurus will most likely be destroyed. If they want to get close to the Taichu sacred tree below, they must destroy the Taichu Academy here and capture the owner of Zhaoqing Palace, otherwise they will not be able to enter the star core space." Sister Jing, Qingxing said before that the Three Saints sect and the Star King forces went behind her back and secretly negotiated with those Star Masters, and then took away some of the proceeds from the Taichu sacred tree from Qingxing. Chen Shang said, now the Three Saints sect and the Star King forces are here, so are there any Star Lords supporting them? Sister Xiao Jing said with certainty, the other divine trees in the Taichu world cannot compare to the Taurus tree. So other Star Masters will definitely come to ****** it. Those Star Masters need to rely on the fruits of the divine tree of absolute beginning to practice. The fruit behind this is really €s very deep. €. Qingxing should know, but she didn't tell me. Could it be that she is worried that after I know the inside story, I will go to those Star Masters to fight for my life? Chen Shang frowned and said, she seems to be quite afraid of those Star Masters. Several Star Masters have broken their contracts. There is nothing she can do. Sister Xiao Jing said, brother, if other Star Lords are eyeing Taurus, then you should contact the Star Lord here quickly and let that guy prepare in advance. I'll start now. Chen Shang took out the World Proud Divine Furnace and began to gather the power of Taoism, which was something the Star Master needed very much. This time he planned to gather enough Taoist power and then refine it into a pill. He wants to use that pill to lure out the Star Lord here. Just call it Taichu Dao Fa Dan. It should be successful. What Chen Shang needs now is enough Taoist power. It is difficult for others to cultivate it. It takes a very complicated process or a long time to transform and condense it. However, Chen Shang was very easy to condense the power of Taoism. The main thing was that he could quickly condense the Taichu divine power through his Taichu divine marks. His Taichu divine marks are also very unnatural, they are straight, unlike other people's Taichu divine marks which are very complicated. Although the more complex the Taichu divine patterns are, the better, but there are also advantages to being uncomplicated. Chen Shang frantically condensed the divine power of Taichu, and transformed it into the power of Taoism and injected it into the world-proud divine furnace. After struggling for more than 10 days, he finally refined a relatively small Taichu Taoist pill. This pill is still a bit small in his opinion, but it is also his current limit. Because it was very difficult to refine the power of Taoism into elixirs, even he found it very difficult. Especially when he was condensing the pill, he could clearly feel that there was an extremely strong and mysterious force disturbing him. If his level wasn't high enough and stable enough, he would have exploded. If the furnace explodes, it will also cause damage to the proud furnace. Is it the power of law that prevents me from condensing the pill? If it really wants to stop it, it should be stronger, or is it just making it more difficult for me? Chen Shang looked at the pill in his hand, then closed his eyes and released his strong thoughts. The aura of Taichu's Taoist pill is also very strong. Although it is only as big as a peanut, after Chen Shang injects the power of Taoism, it blooms with a strong golden white light. Not long after, a voice suddenly came from Chen Zhang's mind. Why are you so noisy? It turned out to be a child's voice. Are you the Star Master? Chen Shang was a little surprised. Humph, do you know that I exist? Yes, I am the Star Master of Taurus. My name is Taurus Star Lord. The child's voice sounded slightly milky, which sounded completely inconsistent with the Star Lord's aura, so Chen Shang was stunned for a moment. Lord Taurus, I have something to discuss with you. Can you show your face? Chen Shang asked, his tone also very serious. No, I am the Lord of Taurus. I am the supreme sacred existence of Taurus. I am so noble, how can I meet people casually? Especially an ordinary person like you with such a low cultivation level. The child's voice came again. I have a Taichu Taoist pill in my hand. You should know the efficacy of this pill, right? Chen Shang smiled faintly. Star Master Taurus, do you want to eat this pill? I refined it. No, I don't want to eat it. The reason why I contacted you is not because I am interested in your pill. The main reason is that the aura emanating from your pill disturbs me. Taurus Star Lord snorted softly, and then said, since you are so sincere, I am also willing to talk to you, but I will not let you see the sacred and beautiful me. After saying that, a ball of golden light appeared in front of Chen Shang. Inside the golden light, there was obviously a very small figure floating cross-legged. The body that the Star Lord transformed into was right in front of Chen Shang. Chen Shang originally thought that the Star Lord just created a virtual image to talk to him, but he didn't expect that it was actually him who came in person. As soon as this ball of golden light appeared, Chen Shang felt his skin burning, as if it was about to be burned off, and the aura was also very powerful, directly impacting him and making him retreat. He didn't know if the Star Lord was deliberately giving him power, or if it was because the Star Lord was so powerful. Mortal, if you have something to say, just tell me. The Lord of Taurus uses a child's voice to speak in a pretentious and sophisticated tone, which is quite funny. Taurus is facing a crisis now, and I need your help. After Chen Shang finished speaking, he pointed to the location of the divine tree of absolute beginning in the distance, and said, the crisis was caused by the divine tree of absolute beginning. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5309, Coax Children. After hearing this, Lord Taurus said with great disdain, HMPH, the divine tree of absolute beginning is my treasure, how could it cause a crisis? Even if there is a crisis, I can solve it, so you don't need to worry about it. After all, she is the Lord of the Taurus star, and she is very powerful. To the Taurus continent, she is a godlike existence. However, Chen Shang felt that the Taurus star master should have also practiced under the laws of heaven and earth in the beginning, so she would definitely have the talent of the beginning and be restricted. Chen Shang also realized that this Taurus star lord might really be a child who didn't understand anything. After thinking for a while, he said, then let me ask you a question. There are many Earth stars under the Earth in the beginning. Is Taurus the strongest Earth star? After listening to this, the Taurus star lord was silent and did not answer. After a while, she said, well, I am still young, I will definitely not be able to defeat those adult star lords, but I will also grow. I should be the best in the future. Strong, with the help of the Taichu divine tree, sooner or later I will be the most powerful star master in the Taichu world. Chen Shang smiled and said, so, you also know that there are many star masters who are more powerful than you. Taurus star lord snorted and said, yes. There are indeed many guys who are stronger than me, so what? Even if they are much stronger than me, they can't do anything to me. I can still block them. You don't underestimate me, okay, I'm the star master here, Euro. Chen Shang said, you can stop one star lord, but what about 2, 3, 4 or 5? After listening to Chen Zhang's words, Star Lord Taurus fell silent again. Chen Shang continued, if they join forces to the divine tree of absolute beginning, can you stop it? Don't you know how important this tree is to them? In the past, Qingxing planted the Taichu divine tree inside very powerful Earth stars. The star owners of those Earth stars were very powerful, so other star owners naturally did not dare to them. But this time is different. Qingxing not only planted the divine tree of absolute beginning inside a small Earth star like Taurus, but this divine tree of absolute beginning is also very powerful. Then what can you do? You are so weak, I can destroy you with just a snap of my fingers. You are even less capable of resisting those star lords. After listening to Chen Zhang's words, the Taurus star master also thought about it seriously. If she faced that kind of situation in the future, she would really have no choice but to be beaten and watch helplessly as others robbed her of the divine tree of the beginning. Chen Shang asked again, do you know how this tree appeared? Lord Taurus said, of course I know, but I made an agreement with them to keep it a secret. The sister who planted the tree said she couldn't tell anyone else. Chen Shang said, the person who planted the tree is Queen Qingxing. She is sleeping now. She spent a lot of money to plant this tree and will not wake up in a short time. You don't want to let her down, right? Taurus Star Lord was surprised. How did you know? No one else knows about this kind of thing. Chen Shang took out his own pill and said, after you have cultivated the Taichu talent, you should also be restricted and cannot kill some weak creatures, right? The pill in your hand is good, but I don't necessarily need your pill. I can become stronger myself. Star Lord Taurus just snorted, because Chen Shang seemed to know everything, which made her very unhappy. I need you to start working now to defend the holy city of Taurus. You should know that city, right? Chen Shang asked. It is the city where the master of Zhaoqing Palace lives. The master of Zhaoqing Palace often enters the star core space. What do you think about it? She must be familiar with it. Euro. Taurus Star Lord said, of course I know her, but I am Star Lord. I don't want to lose my identity, and I'm worried that my aura is too strong, scaring her away from seeing me. Chen Shang was speechless and said with a smile, actually, she is the sister of Queen Qingxing. Otherwise, why can she come in and out of the star core space? You can just go to see her directly and communicate with her often. She has many clones, you can find her at any time. Well, since she is the sister of the Queen's sister, it would not be a disgrace for me to meet her. After speaking, Lord Taurus hurriedly said, "By the way, alchemist, I'm just talking to you, don't think we have a good relationship, but am not familiar with you. Regarding the situation in Taurus, Chen Shang didn't say much to the Taurus Lord, because she was just a child and she definitely didn't understand that much at the same time. To make her realize what situation the Taurus continent on the Taurus star is facing, this task is left to Palace Master Zhao King. Chen Shang smiled and said, "I am very grateful to the distinguished Star Lord for talking to me. I am extremely honored." The Lord of Taurus snorted, "Alchemist, do you want to exchange your pill? I won't ask for it in vain. I actually don't want to eat your pill. I just want to help you or we can exchange something with you. Make you stronger." Chen Shang didn't expect that the Taurus Star Master would be like this. He liked that pill very much, but he couldn't lose face. This made him shake his head and smile, saying, "Exchange for what?" Lord Taurus said, "Death Chi, haven't you always wanted Death Chi before?" Chen Shang shook his head and said, "It was needed before, but not so much now." Taurus Star Lord was a little anxious and said, "Then what do you want?" Chen Shang asked, "What do you have?" The Lord of Taurus thought for a while and said, "I have medicinal materials. I am the Lord of Taurus. What medicinal materials do I not have? What medicinal materials do you want? Those are all magic medicines." The Lord of Taurus is restricted by the law of the beginning and cannot kill weak creatures, but picking medicinal materials is not a problem. "Let's get some divine fruit and magical medicine, one that contains a lot of Taichu's divine power," Chen Shang said. "If you have a lot of Taichu divine power, you can make a quick breakthrough by making a pill and eating it." Chen Shang now needs to quickly improve his cultivation level, at least to the 60th or 70th level of Taichu realm. "Okay, I'll leave this to you." The ball of golden light where the Taurus Star Master was suddenly floated out and landed in front of Chen Shang. Chen Shang took a closer look and found that there were some medicinal materials such as magical fruits and flowers inside. It was indeed a very precious magical medicine. "Very good. This pill is for you." Chen Shang also threw the Taichu Daofa pill over. "We can continue to cooperate." Taurus Star Lord said, "Looking at your sincerity, I agree to cooperate with you." "Okay, go and play with Palace Master Zhao King." Chen Shang smiled and said, "She is quite good at playing." "What are you playing for? She's not a child, I'm here to talk to her about business." "Humph, you guy, why do you think of her as the kind of idle Star Master?" Taurus Star Master cursed and said, "Discord. You're wasting your time, I'll go find Palace Master Zhao King to talk about business." When Chen Shang saw the Taurus Star Master leaving, he felt much relieved. This Taurus Star Master is a child, which means it is easy to coax. Zhao King Palace Master must be very good at this, and he can easily control this little kid Star Master. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5310. Ancient Enemy. After Chen Shang contacted the Taurus Star Master, he immediately felt a lot more relaxed. Although this little kid Star Master was not as strong as the other Star Masters, he could completely defend the Taurus Holy City before those Star Masters came. After Chen Shang left the Star Core space, he returned to Taichu Academy and stayed in the luxurious suite on the floor. Shen Ningyi and Bai Peacock are also waiting for her here. After returning from Tianxi Ancient Wilderness, Shen Ningyi has been trying to find a way to contact the palace. Because there was a disaster in the Queen's Holy Land where the palace was located, although she could contact him, there was no time to talk to her, and now he finally gave her a lot of useful information. When Chen Shang came back, Shen Ningyi stood up in a hurry. Seeing her solemn expression, Chen Shang knew that there must be bad news. "Sister, what's wrong?" Chen Shang asked. "There is news from the palace that the person leading the team from the Three Saints this time is Ji Webai," Shen Ningyi said. "This guy is very strong, and his strength is far superior to Xiao Chou. The Shen family and the palace only sent Xiao Chou, but the Three Saints sect sent a big shot like Ji Webai, which made Shen Ningyi very worried. After all, the Shen family army is also on the Tianxi Ancient Wilderness side. If they face Ji Webei's army, they will most likely suffer a big loss." After hearing this, Chen Zhang's face became serious and said, "Don't worry. Although Ji Webai is powerful, he can't directly attack people with low cultivation level, right?" Shen Ningyi nodded and said, "But the Three Saints he leads must be very strong. We Shen Jiazhen can't take advantage of them. If they are large enough, we Shen Jiazhen will definitely not be able to defeat them." What is the average cultivation level of soldiers in such an army? Chen Shang asked. He had known about it before, but now he wanted to confirm it. They are all below the 30th level of Taichu realm. Shen Ningyi said. They are all without Taichu talent, so they will not be restricted. Chen Shang nodded and said, if the two armies fight, most of them will be under 30 weight, right? Then I can join the battle. Shen Ningyi shook his head and said, brother, you can't do it. Your Taichu talent is not a strength talent. You will suffer a lot in a fight. Even if you can fight 10 with 1, there are thousands of people at the 30th level of the Taichu realm in their army. 10,000, or even more, you simply can't defeat that many people. Euro. Chen Shang smiled and said, little girl, you told me not to underestimate me. Shen Ningyi said, brother, please don't cause trouble. It's very dangerous. In the eyes of Shen Ningyi and Bai Peacock, Chen Shang does have a lot of experience, but on the battlefield, it depends on actual strength. Chen Shang is an alchemist and has no talent for strength. It will not help if he goes. Chen Shang smiled and said, although I am an alchemist and not very good at fighting, but in many cases, I have to do it myself. He also wanted to go over and help Xiao Chou, and those were the Shen family troops. They would be at a huge disadvantage facing the army of 3 saints led by Ji Webei, and even if the palace came to support, they would definitely be hindered. What's more, Xiao Chou not only has to face the forces of the 3 saints sect and the Star King, but also the forces of the Starry Sky are also a big threat. Who knows what is there in the ancient wilderness of Tianxi? Brother, if you go to Tianxi ancient wilderness, what will you do here? Shen Ningyi said, aren't you worried that someone will raid this city? Shen Ningyi has also been worried about this matter. She has secretly mobilized troops from Haitang King City to come as soon as possible to reinforce the Taurus Holy City. She can't control that much now. This city is already safe. There is a Star Master in Taurus who has promised to protect this city. Chen Shang chuckled and said, just let the Star Master worry about the matters in the Taurus Holy City. What is Star Master? Shen Ningyi asked in surprise. Chen Shang briefly talked about the relationship between the Star Master and the Divine Tree of Absolute Beginning. Shen Ningyi and Bai Peacock were shocked when they heard this. This was the first time they knew about such a thing. Other Star Masters should also compete for the Taichu Divine Tree here, but they won't come so quickly. In fact, even if those Star Masters come to compete for it, there is nothing we can do, they are too strong. Chen Shang said. In short, now the holy city of Taurus has also stabilized, so lead a Euro-S go to the Tianxi ancient wilderness to have a look. Euro. Chen Ningyi and Bai Peacock did not expect that Chen Shang would solve the matter so quickly. They also followed Chen Shang to the Tianxi ancient wilderness with confidence to meet Xiao Chou. The white peacock flew for several days and came to the Tianxi ancient wilderness again, arriving at Xiao Chou's camp. Xiao Chou saw Chen Shang and Shen Ningyi in his big tent. When he arrived, his face was also filled with sadness. Master, why are you here? This place is very unsafe now. Xiao Chou said, you shouldn't have come, please leave quickly. Xiao Chou also knew that Chen Zhang's current cultivation level was very low. If something unexpected happened, he was worried that he would not be able to protect Chen Shang. Xiao Chou, Ji Webei is here too. This is what Shen Ningyi asked. Well, this guy sent a letter to me, telling me to leave the Taurus continent immediately, and warned me not to step into the Tianxi ancient wilderness. Xiao Chou clenched his fists and said, he also said that there are them in the Tianxi ancient wilderness. The most precious treasure of the 3 saints sect, if we step into the ancient wilderness of Tianxi, it will be equivalent to robbing them of their most precious treasure. Chen Shang snorted, this guy is still the same. It seems that no one has taught him a lesson over the years. Xiao Chou was a little surprised and asked, Master, do you know Ji Webei? Have you ever fought against him? Even in Xiao Chou's eyes, Ji Webei was very powerful. Although Shen Ningyi and Bai Peacock both knew that Xiao Chou, the Xiao Shen general, was very strong, they were not even close to Ji Webei. Everyone knew that Ji Webei was stronger than Xiao Chou. Although Xiao Chou was very aggressive, he was very powerless against Ji Webei. Chen Shang said, back then, he suffered a loss at my hands and I beat him severely. This guy should still remember it. Master, is this true? Ji Webei is almost invincible. Only the queen can defeat him. Have you ever made him suffer? Have you beaten him violently? Xiao Chou was a little unbelievable. When did I lie to you? Not to mention the hero's bravery in the past, I will definitely not be able to defeat him now. Chen Shang waved his hand and said, But don't worry, since he is leading the army this time, I can also defeat him. Big loss. Xiao Chou asked. Master, tell me your plan. Chen Shang said. Start a battle with that guy's army directly. After hearing this, Xiao Chou frowned and said, we can't beat them. They have tens of millions of believers in the camp next to Tianxi Ancient Wilderness. We currently only have a few million people here. According to the latest intelligence, they will eventually gather 30 million believer. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. Do you like this site? Donate here. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5311, Crazy Python Monster. A few million versus 30 million. This is really difficult. Shen Ningyi also sighed and said, if our Shen family army deals with normal enemies, there will be no problem. Facing the group of Three Saints sect, crazy demons are at a great disadvantage. Chen Shang had heard that the Shen Jiazhen was very strong before. Shen Ningyi also said just now that under normal circumstances, it would not be a problem for the Shen Jiazhen to fight against each other, but they were facing the Three Saints sect. Xiao Chou nodded and said, we rarely fight against the Three Saints sect. This is mainly because the Queen has a truce agreement with them. But it is different now. The Three Saints sect wants to take the opportunity to destroy us. Chen Shang asked, why do they want to destroy our Shen family army now? Shen Ningyi said, the Queen is sleeping now, and it may take many years to wake up. Now that the Queen's holy land has been destroyed, and the current situation has changed a lot, the Three Holy Sect may want to take advantage of this to seize power. Xiao Chou also said, the Star King forces have not taken action together with the Three Saints sect, otherwise we would be even more uncomfortable. Mainly the Star King forces do not dare to completely offend the Queen now, or they are waiting for us to fight against the Three Saints sect. Fight until both sides are injured before taking action. Chen Shang rubbed his chin and thought for a while, then asked, Sister, you just said that the Three Saints are all crazy demons, how can you be so crazy? Shen Ningyi looked at Xiao Chou, spread his hands, and said, Xiao Chou, tell me, he should know best. Xiao Chou patted his bald head and said, those guys don't want their lives. Moreover, the skills they practice are very evil. When needed, they can take out their Taichu Divine Pearl and blow it up. Or, they can just blow themselves up. Taichu, if the divine bead explodes by itself, it will be very powerful and can kill a large number of people. Chen Shang frowned. If the opponent's 30 million followers were to act like this, they would really be unable to defeat him. Xiao Chou sighed and said, maybe there is something very important in Tianxi Ancient Wilderness, and those guys don't want us to get it. They have been harassing us for a while, preventing us from exploring in Tianxi Ancient Wilderness. There was no news from the several groups of people we sent out. €. These guys have gone too far. Shen Ningyi gritted his teeth and said, Xiao Chou, I will send people from the royal city to fight them when the time comes. Xiao Chou shook his head and said, the royal city is the Queen's power, you must not use it indiscriminately. Those royal cities are very important to the Queen. Without her permission, it is best not to use them at will, so as not to ruin the Queen's plan in the future. This made Chen Shang a little surprised. Xiao Chou actually knew what Queen Qingxing was planning. Chen Shang said, Xiao Chou, as long as I am here, don't worry, I already have a way to deal with them. Xiao Chou glanced at Chen Shang. If it were in the past, he might have great confidence in Chen Shang, but Chen Zhang's current cultivation level is too low, and he is not talented in strength. Master, your cultivation level is too low. In fact, it is useless no matter how high your cultivation level is. It is difficult to kill all of their 30 million followers. It is difficult to destroy them without the talent of strength. If you have the talent of strength and the cultivation level is high, then it will be restricted by the laws of Taichu Dao, you should be very aware of this. Xiao Chou is helpless now. It can be seen that he seems to be giving up. Chen Shang patted his shoulder and said with a smile, Xiao Chou, this is not like you. You are not a coward. Xiao Chou smiled bitterly and said, Master, I have matured a lot now. I am not afraid of death, and neither are my brothers, but we cannot die in vain. If we face those followers of the Three Saints sect now, we are seeking death. At this time, someone shouted outside the door, Brother Xiao, the Three Saints sect sent someone to deliver a letter, saying it was the letter given to you by Ji Wubei. Xiao Chou has a very good relationship with his subordinates, and they are all like brothers. He went out to take the letter, and then returned to the hall. He opened it and his expression changed. What's wrong? Chen Shang asked. Master, look. Xiao Chou handed the letter to Ji Wubei. Chen Shang looked at the letter and thought about it. Shen Ningyi also came over to take a look. When she saw the content of the letter, her expression suddenly changed. This letter mainly said that Queen Qingxing was not sleeping, but was sealed. And Ida Euro permanently sealed. The main reason is that it has been sealed by hundreds of Star Lords, and it is impossible to unseal it unless the stars where the more than 100 Star Lords are located are destroyed. Ji Wubei sent this letter mainly to persuade Xiaoqiu to surrender. If you surrender obediently, you can let them go, otherwise they will all die here. Brother, Shen Ningyi looked a little sad when he saw the content in the letter, and said, is this true? No, Chen Shang shook his head and said, it is very common to disturb the morale of the military before a war. I know this must be false, but if it spreads among the army, it will be troublesome. Maybe it has already spread. Xiaoqiu gritted his teeth and said, brothers learned before that they would face 30 million believers. The pressure is Ida Euro's already very big, and if we find out that the queen is in this situation now, she will definitely be affected. A Euro. The big man who had come to deliver the letter shouted softly outside the tent again, Brother Xiao, something big has happened. The Three Saints sect sent out 1 million believers to form a formation in front of our military camp. They threatened that 1 million believers can destroy our Shen family army. Quote. Xiaoqiu asked, who led these millions of believers? The big man said, one of the 36 teaching kings of the Three Saints sect, the Purple Python sect king. Shen Ningyi cursed in a low voice, good guy, you actually sent out a religious king. Ji Wubei is such a big deal. Xiaoqiu asked the big man to come in and talk. The big man also knew that the people Xiaoqiu faced were all distinguished guests, so he seemed a little reserved. Chen Shang asked, how is the opponent's strength? Xiaoqiu said, I can defeat the Purple Python cult king, but the millions of crazy python cultists under his command are the most elite among the Three Saints. The big man said, those things will transform into wild python monsters, that is, their upper body is a human body and their lower body is a giant python. Chen Shang wondered, how come the Three Saints believers have so many of these things? Xiaoqiu said, these are all cultivated by them. These things are very difficult to deal with. It seems that we have to withdraw. Chen Shang said, Xiaoqiu, let me try, I should be able to kill them. Xiaoqiu frowned and said, Master, this is not acceptable. Your safety is important. The big man was shocked when he saw General Xiao calling a handsome young man his master. He looked at Chen Shang with wide eyes and did not dare to speak. No, we have to retreat now. Shen Ningyi said, brother, when you entered the Tianxi ancient wilderness with us, weren't you very cautious? You just ran away when you needed to. How can you run away decisively now? Old man brother, no matter how you look at this situation, you should retreat. Chen Shang said, those monsters in Tianxi ancient wilderness are really scary, but things like the Three Saints sect are nothing to be afraid of. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5312, the God of Alchemy shows his power again. Chen Shang also has a certain understanding of the followers of the Three Saints sect, especially those at the 30th level of the Taibei realm. He has killed them before, so he is not afraid at all. However, Xiaoqiu and Shen Ningyi knew it, because fighting at the 30th level of Taichu realm was very complicated. For example, the million python demons sent by the other party are not only huge in size, but also cultivate a powerful demon power. They have powerful python demon blood in their bodies. In addition, those snake scales are very strong. When fighting, normal people will not be able to fight. It is very disadvantageous. Even the Star Army will suffer a big loss when facing the python demon. Chen Shang said, Xiaoqiu, how about this? Give me half a day. If it doesn't work, you can retreat. Anyway, the Star Gate is nearby. You can leave through the Star Gate at any time. Xiaoqiu and Shen Ningyi looked at each other and then nodded. They could only do this now because they could all see that Chen Shang had a strong desire to fight. They all knew Chen Shang to a certain extent and knew that Chen Shang once something is decided, it is rarely changed. Brother, what are you going to do? How many people do you need? Shen Ningyi asked. Master, I will select a group of elites for you now. Xiaoqiu looked at the middle-aged man and was about to give an order. Chen Shang waved his hand and said, no, I can do it myself. Let's do it this way. If you are worried, just follow me to face the millions of python cultists. How about you? You will also be needed to deal with the purple python cult king then. Okay, When Xiao Chou heard that Chen Shang wanted to go by himself, he was shocked but also secretly excited. Now he couldn't help but recall Chen Zhang's demeanor back then, where he often challenged many strong men with his own strength. When Xiao Chou saw Chen Shang being so confident, he also felt that Chen Shang must have someone strong to rely on. Xiao Chou called dozens of generals from the army, all of whom were at the 30th level of the Taichu realm, and dozens of others who were at the 10th level of the Taichu realm, mainly to protect Chen Shang. When they learned that the handsome young man next to Xiao Chou was going to repel millions of python cultists by himself, they all felt that they had heard wrong, and no one believed it. They didn't know that Chen Shang was Xiao Chou's master, but they could see that Xiao Chou respected this young man very much. Brother Xiao, this brother doesn't seem to be gifted with strength. He is at the 30th level of Taichu realm. Do you really want to go out and fight alone? A young man whispered. We can follow him and act together. Or, he wants to launch a sneak attack. But it is useless. Even if tens of thousands of python demons are killed, it will not affect their overall combat effectiveness. Another young man also said. I fought with the python demon cultivators a few years ago. When we faced normal stars, one of us could beat several of them, but this python demon was in its normal state, and it was already very difficult for us to fight one-on-one. An old man said. The python cultists have 3 stages of transformation. They are in a normal state now. In the 2nd stage of transformation, they will turn into snake heads. In the 3rd stage, they will be covered in snake scales and will also enter a violent state. The so-called berserk state is to fight until death without risking our lives. Once we enter that state, we need at least 10 people to kill them. So if we fight, we must kill them before they change, but this is difficult to do. Come, they have millions of python monsters, and most of them will go into a frenzy and fight against us from the beginning. This old man seemed to be a military advisor. He glanced at Chen Shang and said, Boss Xiao, does this little brother have any plans? Chen Shang is very calm now, but everyone present is panicking to death. Xiao Chou, Bai Peacock and Shen Ningyi, although their cultivation levels are high, they cannot attack those who are at the 30th level of Taichu realm, so they can only help Chen Shang to resist them. Of course Chen Shang has a way, and he is completely sure of it, but he has to keep it secret now, mainly because he is worried that the other party will find out. Although the people here are very trustworthy, because he has seen existences like the old thin ghost, he knows that some methods of spying on intelligence are very clever, so he did not reveal his plan. Chen Shang said, Don't worry, everyone. If something happens, just retreat as soon as possible. I can protect myself. Xiao Chou wanted to say something, but he didn't. He just said to his brothers, we will know when the time comes. Shen Ningyi didn't say anything. Of course she could see that Chen Shang was very confident. Shen Ningyi had only heard about many things about Chen Shang. If Chen Shang succeeded in repelling millions of python cultists, it would definitely be another big event that would cause a sensation in all directions. This time, she will also witness the grace of her big brother in person. The old strategist held a sound transmission array in his hand and suddenly said, There is news from the front that millions of python demon believers have set off and will start charging soon. Chen Shang asked, How long does it take to rush here? The old military advisor calculated and said, It will take about an hour and a half for them to leave now. Chen Shang said, Our troops will withdraw to the Stargate first. If the situation is not right, enter the Stargate and leave this place. Xiao Chou also followed Chen Zhang's instructions and asked Shen Jiazhen to start heading towards the Stargate so that they could retreat quickly. The old military advisor said, The Three Saints sect seems to be just trying to push us back. It seems that there are many important cultivation resources in Tianxi ancient wilderness, and they don't want us to get them. Xiao Chou cursed in a low voice. These spread rumors that the queen was sealed, and now they are suppressing us like this. They are really bullying others. Of course the queen has the power to fight back, but those powers cannot be moved. And now the Shen family army led by Xiao Chou only has a few million soldiers. Facing tens of millions of Three Saints believers, they are at a huge disadvantage. Chen Shang said, Let's speed up and get there. Shen Ningyi couldn't help but said, Brother, are we the only ones? Chen Shang nodded and said, That's enough, we can run very fast when the time comes. After saying that, he looked at Xiao Chou again and asked, That purple python cult king, they should also have many high-level practitioners. Can you stop them when the time comes? Leave them to you, and leave the millions of python monsters to me. €. I can beat Purple Python Cult King and his group of guys, just leave it to us. Xiao Chou was very confident. Dozens of other young and middle-aged people also assured Chen Shang that they could all see now that Xiao Chou was in great awe of Chen Shang, and only one middle-aged man knew that Chen Shang was Xiao Chou's master. None of them knew that Shen Ningyi was the eldest lady of the Shen family. They only knew that she was Xiao Chou's distinguished guest, and they could tell that her cultivation was good. They are not only good brothers of Xiao Chou, but also trained by Shen Tianyu, so they can be loyal to the Shen family, but they don't know that there is an eldest son in the Shen family, and now he is in front of them. Soon, they could feel a violent momentum coming, and at the same time, there was a strong wind with a fishy smell, and the group of python cultists was right in front. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5313, Love Destroys Enemies. Even Xiao Chou, who has experienced hundreds of battles, is a little nervous at this moment. The momentum of the million python demon is too strong, and there is also violent demonic energy gushing from his body, accompanied by the strong wind. Chen Shang immediately took out a white silk thread-like hair. Under his control, the thread suddenly extended to both sides and suddenly became very long. He released the Six Paths Divine Mirror and flew to the other end of the silk thread, and then he ran to the other end and released the Immortal War Mysterious Demon Tower to tie the silk thread tightly. In this way, the thin silk thread became tight. This is the Suzaku Tenderness Silk. Under Shen Zhang's control, the silk thread begins to heat up and turn red. At this moment, it is an extremely hot filament. Of course Xiao Chou and the others could see this thread, after all, Chen Shang did it in front of them. However, they did not think that this thread could stop the million python monsters. Only Shen Ningyi knew that this thread might be the Suzaku Tenderness thread. If it was as terrifying as the legend, this thread might have very amazing effects. Chen Shang quickly led his people to retreat. Millions of python demons rushed towards him, but because the aura was too violent and covered up the hot aura emanating from the tender silk of Suzaku, the python demons did not notice it. The python demon ran very fast. Some of the python demons in the front row could see the threads, but they didn't take it seriously. When they rushed over at extremely fast speeds, the threads moved forward quickly and easily cut the python demon. Strong body. Chen Shang, who was in the distance, immediately controlled the Immortal War Mysterious Demon Tower and the Six Paths Divine Mirror, pulling the tight Suzaku Tenderness threads to move forward quickly. The Divine Mirror of Six Paths also injects energy into the Suzaku Tenderness silk at this moment, heating the thread, making the temperature of the thread very high, allowing it to cut off those python demons faster and more smoothly. In just a few blinks, rows of python demon cultists fell down, and their bodies could be seen cut off in the middle, as if they were instantly cut off by something very sharp. Xiao Chou and the others had just seen the silk thread arranged by Chen Shang. If the silk thread was strong enough and had extremely high temperature, they could indeed cut off all the python monsters. It's just that they didn't think such a terrible thing existed before. At this moment, they were all shocked when they saw a large number of python cultists falling. In just a moment, the million python demon cultists who were running wild were cut off by Chen Shang with the Suzaku tender thread, leaving only a few fleeing. All this happened so fast, even Chen Shang felt it was too smooth, because he felt that there would be strong people on the side of the python demon cultists to block the movement of the Six Paths Divine Mirror and the Immortal War Mysterious Demon Tower. After all, these two things were very conspicuous. However, Chen Shang overestimated them, because even the strong python demon cultists did not expect this to happen. They were very lax and only wanted to drive millions of python demon cultists to rampage and sweep across Xiao Chou's military camp. They were following behind and chatting, but by the time they realized something was wrong, the million python demon had already collapsed. The divine mirror of Six Paths swirled crazily, and the tender thread of Suzaku suddenly seemed to spread branches and scattered leaves, splitting countless filaments, instantly turning into a giant net, and then as the divine mirror of Six Paths rolled up, the threads fell on those on the body of the python demon. Because Chen Shang saw that some python monsters were still struggling even after their bodies were cut off, and even quickly regenerated to heal their wounds. The divine mirror of Six Paths dragged the giant net made of Suzaku's tender threads and rotated in the air. In the blink of an eye, a tornado formed by the giant net appeared, rolling up the bodies of a large number of python monsters, and then put them inside the divine mirror of Six Paths. Sister Xiaojing has prepared the world-proud divine furnace in the divine mirror of Six Paths, and these python monsters will be included in the divine mirror of Six Paths. Suddenly, behind the Python demon group, there was a flash of purple light. It's the purple python cult king. They've started to take action. Leave it to us. Xiao Chou immediately led his men and rushed over. The purple python cult king and the others were attacking the Six Paths Divine Mirror. Xiao Chou knew that what they had to do now was to protect the Six Paths Divine Mirror from being disturbed. At this time, the people who stayed behind gathered around Shen Shang to prevent him from being attacked. At this moment, they all understood why this handsome and mysterious young man was respected by Xiao Chou, and Xiao Chou also listened to him. The old military advisor was so impressed by the methods Chen Shang showed just now. Chen Shang defeated this terrifying army of Python demon cultivators with just his own strength. The army of Python demon cultists was a huge headache for Shen Jiazhen, but today it was wiped out so easily. Although Chen Ningyi knew that his eldest brother was very good, he didn't expect that he had underestimated Chen Zhang's strength before. The corpses of a large number of Python cultists have been collected into the Six Paths Divine Mirror and driven into the world-proud Divine Furnace. There is a lot of death energy here, and the Python cultists also contain various useful divine powers, which are also very useful. The purple Python cult king and a dozen other powerful men were shocked and angry. They thought they were sure of victory and could kill Xiao Chou's millions of Shen Jiazhen in one breath. However, they did not expect that they had not yet seen Shen Jiazhen and his army of Python demon cultists. Ida Euro-S gone. Now when they face Xiao Chou, they are also being suppressed and beaten. Chen Shang looked at the battles in the distance. They were all battles at the dozens of levels of Taichu realm. Xiao Chou was indeed very strong. He beat the purple Python cult king without any ability to fight back. Moreover, the purple Python cult king couldn't even run away. He was chased and beaten violently by Xiao Chou. Xiao Chou is also gifted with strength, and he is originally from the powerful tribe, so he should have extremely strong talents in his body. Xiao Chou was fighting in the distance. When he punched with all his strength, his infinitely powerful fist hit the purple Python cult king's armor quickly and hard. The impact made a loud explosion and made the purple Python cult king scream in agony. Every punch that Xiao Chou punched was like beating a giant drum, making a rumbling sound. Even though the body of the purple Python cult king was protected by thick snake scales, it was still bruised by Xiao Chou's fists. The purple Python cult king was seriously injured by Xiao Chou and was captured. The other powerful python monsters were killed directly. Xiao Chou, your queen is already dead, and now you have offended our Three Saints sect. Your Shen family will just wait to be destroyed by us. The purple python sect king shouted ferociously, his face covered with blood. Xiao Chou, can you let him go back and send a message? Chen Shang said. Of course, I have to destroy him and then let him go back. Xiao Chou nodded and said, okay, I will destroy this guy now. Xiao Chou took out a knife and took out the demon elixir of the purple python cult king. Inside the demon elixir was the Taichu divine bead of the purple python cult king. Chen Shang took the demon pill and put it away. The purple python cult king was howling angrily at this moment. The invincible Holy Lord will not let you go. You all have to die, you all have to die, the purple python cult king roared angrily. Go back and tell Ji Wubai and ask him if he still remembers Chen Shang. If he wants to seek revenge from me, he'd better come quickly. Chen Shang said to the purple python cult king. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5314, Traveling Alone into Ancient Times. The purple python cult king has been abolished, and he is in unbearable pain at this moment, especially watching his demon pill being taken away by Chen Shang, and his heart is bleeding with anger. So now he has deeply remembered Chen Zhang's words. He will go back and tell Ji Wubai that he will take revenge on him. Go away. Chen Shang looked at the purple python cult king and kicked him far away. Only a few python demons were not killed. They hurriedly lifted up the purple python cult king and ran away. When they came before, they were mighty, and their explosive momentum seemed to destroy the world, as if they were going to crush Xiao Chou's millions of Shen family troops. But now, there is very little left for them to go back, and the leader is beaten like a dead dog. This is a huge shame. The Three Saints sect has never suffered such a loss. Although they know that the Shen Jiazhen is very strong, they have been collecting information about the Shen Jiazhen for many years and have never seen the Shen Jiazhen use such methods. And in their assessment, the overall strength of the several million Shen family army led by Xiao Chou was just that, and the millions of Python demon cultists were enough to defeat them, but in the end they were wiped out before even seeing the Shen family army. Chen Shang, Xiao Chou and others immediately returned and rushed to the vicinity of the Star Gate. The Shen Jiazhen had already set up camp here and could leave from the Star Gate at any time. Chen Shang looked at the huge Star Gate with a solemn expression. Master, what's wrong? Xiao Chou asked in a low voice when he saw that Chen Shang was worried. If these millions of Shen family troops withdraw from this Star Gate, will it really be safe? Chen Shang took a deep breath and said, I always feel that this matter is not that simple. Have you contacted the Shen family recently? Quote. Xiao Chou's expression changed and he said hurriedly, Master, do you mean there is an ambush at the Star Gate? Chen Shang asked, who is guarding the Star Gate? Xiao Chou frowned and said, although the Queen's holy land was destroyed by the sudden disaster, each family was not greatly affected. The location of the Star Gate should be a very safe place. It has always been controlled by us. War gods guard the home and palace. Euro. Chen Shang said, get in touch and ask if the Star Gate is safe. Xiao Chou immediately took out a formation disc, opened it, contacted the other side, and asked about the situation of the Star Gate. After a while, Xiao Chou shook his head and sighed, there is no response. Something happened at the Star Gate. If we go there, we might fall into their hands. Chen Shang thought for a moment and took out a large puppet, which seemed to be forged from golden material. He controlled the puppet to enter the Star Gate, and at the same time released super powerful soul power to maintain contact with the puppet. After the puppet passed through the Star Gate, Chen Shang immediately saw many people wearing fiery red armor with flaming flames on the other side of the Star Gate. You can't see the appearance of those armored men, because their whole bodies are covered in flame armor. You can see that they are huge, like little giants. As soon as Chen Zhang's puppet saw them, those armored men rushed over and slashed them wildly. Chen Shang couldn't help but cursed. Master, what's going on over there? Xiao Chou could tell from Chen Zhang's reaction just now that it was definitely not a good thing. Chen Shang told Xiao Chou and the old military advisor what he saw. When they heard about the red flame armor, their expressions changed. Even Xiao Chou had a hint of fear in his eyes. That's the legendary Star Lord throne. It belongs to the ***** Mars Lord. The old military advisor said solemnly, it seems that the Star Gate is occupied by them. If we go there, we will definitely die. Chen Shang asked, Lord Divine Mars. I heard that the Star King force has a Martian clan. Does it have anything to do with this Lord Divine Mars? The old military advisor nodded and said, it does matter. The Martian clan is not only a force of the Star King, but also has the support of the Lord of God Mars. The Martian clan is on the Divine Fire Earth star. Now that our Star Gate is occupied by them, this matter must be very complicated. We can only go back after the palace handles it. Chen Shang asked, why don't they come over from the Star Gate? Logically speaking, they are waiting for us to pass there, probably just to kill us, but they know there are people on our side, why don't they come over? The Star Gate is now one way. You can only go from the Taurus side, not from that side. There must have been a fierce battle before, and the Star Gate master of the Imperial Palace was interfered with when controlling the Star Gate. So when this kind of chaos occurs, they probably want to completely close the Star Gate. The old military advisor sighed and said, this is going to be difficult. There are tens of millions of believers on Ji Wubei's side, and they don't know if they can defeat him. Since this Star Gate has no use anymore, there is no need to stay here. We will leave here immediately. Chen Shang said. Staying still is just waiting for Ji Wubei to come over. There is no need for us to confront them now. Confrontation. Euro. Chen Shang was able to kill millions of python demons with the Suzaku tender thread before, but it was also because the opponent underestimated the enemy. They would definitely be on guard in the future, so this trick could only be used once. Where should we go? Are we going to enter the ancient wilderness of Tianxi? The old military advisor shook his head and said, we haven't investigated the situation inside yet. If we go in rashly, we will only die. We are not afraid of death, but we cannot die without death. Significance. Go to the Golden Bull Holy City. Chen Shang said, it will be safe once you enter the city. The holy city of Taurus is protected by the Taurus Star Lord. As long as no other Star Lord comes to attack the city, it is basically very safe. In addition, after the Taichu sacred tree grows, the holy city of Taurus will definitely be shrouded in the rich power of the sacred tree because of the sacred tree, and the Shen Jiazhen will definitely get great benefits in the city. Xiao Chou didn't say anything, he just listened to Chen Shang. The old military advisor had seen Chen Zhang's abilities, and also knew that Chen Xiong was Xiao Chao's master. Although he did not ask why, the fact that Xiao Chou was willing to call Chen Xiong his master showed that Chen Zhang's identity was not simple. Chen Xiong arranged for Shen Ningyi and Bai Peacock to lead the way, taking Xiao Chou and Shen Jiazhen to the Golden Bull Holy City, while he himself had to explore the ancient wilderness of Tianxi alone. Shen Ningyi and Xiao Chou were worried that Chen Xiong would go in alone, but they couldn't say anything. Although they had higher cultivation than Chen Xiong, they might not be able to handle emergencies well. After Chen Xiong watched them leave, he stepped into the ancient wilderness of Tianxi alone. There must be something hidden in Tianxi ancient wilderness, otherwise it would not attract the attention of so many powerful forces. Even those powerful star masters sent people into the ancient wilderness of Tianxi. Chen Xiong had received information from the old thin ghost before. The Martian tribesmen in the Star King's influence set out towards the Tianxi ancient wilderness, and they still selected many strong ones. Behind the Martian clan is the ***** Martian Lord, which shows that this mysterious ***** Martian Lord knows that there are very important things in Tianxi ancient wilderness. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5315, Yishan Palace. Chen Xiong entered the Tianxi ancient wilderness alone. He climbed to the top of a lion mountain, looked up at the stars at night, and tried to contact Ling Shu, but there was no response. He continued to go deep into the Tianxi ancient wilderness, climbing the mountain almost every night to contact Ling Shu. At the same time, he rushed into the depths of the Tianxi ancient wilderness. He didn't know how to go, so he could only enter the central area by feeling. He hid very well by himself and did not encounter any danger. He could also feel that the evil spirit in Tianxi ancient wilderness was getting stronger and stronger. However, the strange thing was that there seemed to be a certain force that dispelled the evil spirit and caused the evil spirit. The energy cannot be completely gathered. Once the evil spirit gathers together, it will become more and more intense over time, and eventually it will form a terrible dangerous place. More than 10 days later, Chen Xiong contacted Ling Shu on the top of a huge lion mountain. As before, he just tried to contact him without expecting a response. But today, Ling Shu suddenly responded to him. "Master, I finally contacted you." Ling Shu's side also seemed very happy, and the voice coming from him was quite exciting. Chen Xiong looked at the stars in the night sky and said happily, "Ling Shu, what's going on? You keep contacting me. I call you every day, but there is no response. I thought you had an accident." Ling Shu said, "There was indeed an accident, which caused me to be unable to contact you every once in a while. There was turmoil on the Xingkong side. I really didn't expect it." "What turmoil?" Chen Xiong immediately thought of the starry sky forces. There is a very powerful force here in the starry sky, and they are attacking stars everywhere. Ling Shu said, "The star I was in before was captured by them, but fortunately they have been driven away now." Chen Xiong was surprised. How is the overall strength of the stars in the sky? Will they be captured by others? Ling Shu said, "The stars in the sky are very powerful, but some stars will fall into a long sleep. Those ***** are actually trying their luck. If they encounter a sleeping star, they will take the opportunity to plunder the resources on the star." Chen Xiong asked, "What kind of force do those **** belong to?" Ling Shu said, "I only know that it is called Yishan Palace, but I don't know the specific situation." Yishan Palace? It's really these bastards. They can do it. They have such a huge power in the starry sky. Chen Xiong cursed in a low voice. These two bastards, Demon Ancestor and Zan Ancestor, are so open. Ling Shu was surprised and said, "Master, do you know Yishan Palace?" Chen Xiong immediately told Ling Shu about Demon Ancestor and Zan Ancestor, as well as Yishan and Dai Yishan. After hearing this, Ling Shu exclaimed, "It's actually like this, the number of these guys is very large, plundering everywhere in the starry sky, like locusts." Chen Xiong said, "Let's not talk about this for now. Ling Shu, I have something to ask you. It's about Tianxi ancient wilderness, do you know?" The voice coming from Ling Shu suddenly became serious, saying, "I know, Master, you are in Tianxi ancient wilderness now. Are you trapped?" Chen Xiong told Ling Shu about the Tianxi ancient wilderness. The current barrier of the Tianxi ancient wilderness has been broken, and there are many evil things that have been sealed and suppressed in the Tianxi ancient wilderness and are gradually awakening. After listening to this, Ling Shu was silent for a long time, and then said, Master, Tianxi ancient wilderness used to be on this side of the starry sky. I learned from other star spirits that it seemed to be built by a person called the God of Creation, who also seemed to be called Chuangdao. The sage Euro is a very powerful person. Euro. Ah, Chen Shang couldn't help but exclaimed, Tianxi ancient wilderness was actually created by the God of Creation. He immediately understood why those celestial lions were so familiar. They were indeed the work of an acquaintance of his. Ling Shu added. He disappeared suddenly for some reason, and then Tianxi ancient wilderness was also controlled by Yishan Palace, and was finally brought to Taichu Earth. Chen Shang also wanted to find the God of Creation at this time, but he didn't know how to find him. The God of Creation is in the starry sky, and the starry sky is very vast and requires flying. Chen Shang immediately gave up this idea and could only wait for the God of Creation to come to him. Chen Shang asked, is there anything good hidden in Tianxi ancient wilderness? I always feel that many big guys are desperately looking for something. Ling Shu said, I know this. When Tianxi ancient wilderness was in the starry sky, it was a holy place. First of all, Tianxi ancient wilderness was still very large, and it was the type with space inside. After entering, the interior of Tianxi ancient wilderness automatically expanded. The space looks many times larger than the area it occupies. Euro. Master, you said that many people from powerful forces have entered the ancient wilderness of Tianxi. It is most likely that they are looking for the 3 sacred trees of Taichu. Chen Shang was shocked. There were actually 3 sacred trees in Tianxi ancient wilderness. In this way, Tianxi ancient wilderness came to Taurus for another purpose, because the Taichu divine tree under Taurus is very likely to be the king among all the Taichu divine trees. It was Yishan Palace who controlled Tianxi ancient wilderness to send it down. Does Yishan Palace know something? Ling Shu added. Legend has it that the 3 sacred trees were hidden by the God of Creation, and they were taken away from the 3 star masters and sealed in the ancient Tianxi wilderness. No one has been able to find them until now. Chen Shang asked doubtfully. Yishan Palace has controlled Tianxi ancient wilderness for many years, but it still hasn't been found. Ling Shu said. Yes, if they find it, they will not let the Tianxi ancient wilderness descend to the Taichu Earth. They should want to use the power of the Taichu Earth to let the 3 Taichu divine trees break the seal or something. Chen Shang said. There is also the divine tree of absolute beginning in the starry sky. This was something Chen Shang didn't expect, and he didn't know if the Taichu sacred tree in the starry sky was related to Qingxing. Ling Shu said. There are not many sacred trees of the beginning in the starry sky. It is said that the 3 trees that the Lord of Creation took away are the best 3. They are called Xingwei Ancient Tree, 9 Heavens Divine Pine, and Dream Flower Sea. Dream Sea of Euro flowers. When Chen Shang heard the name, he couldn't help but ask, is this also a tree? Yes, legend has it that this tree is a giant tree composed of a large number of flowers. The huge crown is densely packed with flowers, as big as a small star. Ling Shu said, Master, you are in the ancient wilderness of Tianxi. Be careful, because the things guarding the 3 sacred trees are very powerful, and they are all Star Lord level celestial lions. Chen Shang was very shocked and said, Star Lord level Tianxi. Ling Shu sighed. There are star masters among the stars, and some star masters are not human beings. The star masters of some small stars are slightly weaker. I don't know what means the Taoist God Lord used to make the stars. The Lord comes to guard the sacred tree. Euro. Chen Shang also wanted to know how the Divine Lord of Creation did it. What he was worried about now was that the divine tree would fall into the hands of other star lords, and since it was above Taurus, he was afraid that those star lords would use the heavenly lion ancient wild divine tree to strength, to the sacred tree of Taurus. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5316, Core Shishan. In a place like Taurus, if it hadn't been for the emergence of the Taichu divine tree, there would never have been a powerful star lord coming to such a place. In the eyes of those star lords, such a weak earth star was completely worthless. But things are different now. The Taichu sacred tree of Taurus has the power to travel through space. Everyone wants to master this power, and then they will be able to travel through space at will in the Taichu world. Although the Stargate can also travel through space, it consumes a huge amount of money every time it is opened, and the Stargate will not be opened unless there is something particularly important. Master, you must quickly find the 3 divine trees of absolute beginning. If you know the God who created the Tao, then you should be able to find them. Ling Shu said. If the divine tree of absolute beginning falls into the hands of those bastards, the consequences are disastrous. Chen Shang said, I will definitely try my best. Ling Shu, can you see the situation in the ancient wilderness of Tianxi in the starry sky? I can see a little bit. I will observe it for a while and then provide you with clues. Ling Shu said, I definitely can't see the 3 sacred trees, but I can clearly see the topography of the Tianxi ancient wilderness. Maybe you can discover something from it. Euro. Chen Shang said, there are many huge lion mountains here. Although most of them are huge lions, some of them should not be, but are things used to set up formations. The 3 sacred trees may be hidden by the formation. Quote. Ling Shu said, I think so too. I will tell you after I observe it clearly. After disconnecting from Ling Shu, Chen Shang was worried. He suspected that the 3 sacred trees in Tianxi ancient wilderness were most likely created by Qingxing. Qingxing might even be in contact with the god of creation. Chen Shang told Sister Xiaojing about this matter. After listening to this, Sister Xiaojing said, Brother, if there really are 3 divine trees of absolute beginning in Tianxi ancient wilderness, and these divine trees of absolute beginning have been hidden for many years, then they must have produced many fruits, right? Chen Shang nodded and said, that's for sure. Qingxing said that the sacred tree produces a lot of fruits, but most of them will be taken away by the Star Lord. Sister Xiaojing said, but the 3 sacred trees of Tianxi ancient wilderness are different. The Star Lord only protects the sacred tree, and it is also a sky lion. I guess that the sky lion should be a star beast loyal to Queen Qingxing, and its strength is at the level of a Star Lord. And around the 3 sacred trees, there are most likely 3 other groups, and these groups are also star people groups loyal to the Queen. Chen Shang thought for a while and said, Qingxing has been secretly planning for many years, which makes sense. If this is true, it means that she also foresees the situation in the Taichu world, but it is not certain yet. Sister Xiaojing said, Brother, Tianxi ancient wilderness is definitely not as simple as it seems. Apart from the Lord of Creation and Qingxing Queen, the one who knows Tianxi ancient wilderness best is Yishan Palace. Yishan Palace has created many monsters, and they are all sealed here. It shows that Yishan Palace has often taken various actions against Tianxi ancient wilderness over the years. Could it be that those who sealed those monsters were the tribesmen who guarded the 3 sacred trees? Chen Shang thought about it carefully and felt that it was indeed possible. So, the 3 sacred trees are still safe now. Chen Shang suddenly felt much more relieved. Not necessarily. If a powerful Star Lord intervenes, it's hard to tell. Sister Xiaojing said, a powerful Star Lord must be very strong overall. How can a weak creature be the Star Lord's opponent? Quote. Chen Shang looked into the distance on the top of the mountain and sighed. The 3 sacred trees in Tianxi ancient wilderness, I don't know if they will bring disaster. Euro. At dawn, Chen Shang continued on his way and continued deep into the ancient wilderness of Tianxi. He was very calm all the way in. The place he walked was very quiet, the ground was covered with clear water and silver sand, and the huge lion mountains around him had no breath at all, as if they were dead. Since going deep into the ancient wilderness of Tianxi, Chen Shang has been a little scared in his heart, because he feels as if he is the only one here. When he and Shen Ningyi came in before, they encountered powerful monsters and saw a large number of Tianxi running out of the Lion Mountain, but now they didn't encounter anything. He remembered that many powerful people had entered the Tianxi ancient wilderness, and there were many powerful monsters in the Tianxi ancient wilderness. Now Chen Shang felt as if they had all disappeared. Ling Shu said that there is space in the Tianxi ancient wilderness. Sister Xiaojing said, although the Tianxi ancient wilderness landed and occupied a small part of the Taurus continent, after entering the Tianxi ancient wilderness, there is a lot of space inside. It may be wider than the entire Taurus continent. Euro. At night, Chen Shang would try to contact Ling Shu, but he was able to contact him, which meant that he was not trapped in the illusion formation. Ling Shu also told Chen Shang that the Tianxi ancient wilderness was formed by the merger of multiple huge stars, and the formation process was also very mysterious. According to legend, it was promoted by the god of creation, and there were also legends that it was promoted by multiple star masters working together. In the next 10 days, Chen Shang and Ling Shu managed to figure out the terrain of his area through frequent exchanges. Fortunately, there was the divine mirror of 6 paths, and Sister Xiaojing also participated. Through the divine mirror of 6 paths, she mapped out the locations of hundreds of thousands of lion mountains, and she was very accurate. While on the road, Chen Shang would throw out the divine mirror of 6 paths from time to scan the nearby Lion Mountain, and then supplement it with what Ling Shu observed from the starry sky, and then he could barely get it out. Sister Xiao Jing said, "Brother, Tianxi ancient wilderness is indeed the work of the god of creation. I feel very familiar with it." When Chen Shang was sealed for 100,000 years, the 6 paths divine mirror had already been demonized. At that time, the god of creation had also come into contact with the mirror of 6 paths. It was at that time that Sister Xiao Jing learned something from the god of creation. "Sister Jing, what can you probably understand?" Chen Zhang's scalp suddenly went numb when he saw the dense distribution map of Shishan on the mirror surface. Sister Xiao Jing said, "It's hard for me to explain how I saw it. I can only tell you that the god of creation sent some information through the layout of a large number of Shishan. Could it be that it was left for me? He knew that I would appear here." Quote. Chen Shang said in surprise, "Really? What kind of information is it?" Sister Xiao Jing said, "There are a large number of lion mountains, about 10,000 in a group, and there will be a mountain as the core among the mountains. At present, I can only understand what is hidden in the core Lion Mountain. Let's go immediately to the core of Shishan Mountain, which is the closest to us." Chen Shang finally no longer had to run around like a headless fly. "Okay, I'll point you in the direction." Sister Xiao Jing was quite curious as to what the god of creation left behind. Chen Shang took the divine mirror of 6 paths and ran wildly in the direction indicated above. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5317, Starlight Forbidden Land. Chen Shang ran wildly for 3 days and 3 nights and arrived at the core Lion Mountain. There was a very complicated mechanism here, but it could not defeat Sister Xiao Jing. Without Sister Xiao Jing's help, Chen Shang would not be able to find the mechanism even if he came to this core Lion Mountain. However, Sister Xiao Jing quickly knew where it was and could crack the mechanism. The mechanism was in the middle of the mountain. It looked ordinary from the outside, but Sister Xiao Jing asked Chen Shang to use blood to draw a set of runes on the mountain wall, and that mechanism was revealed. The mechanism is a groove. Sister Xiao Jing releases the powerful soul power, gathers the surrounding Taichu divine power, forms a very complex polyhedral shape, and then puts it into the groove. After the groove came into contact with the polyhedron, the mountain wall began to ripple, as if a water curtain door suddenly appeared. Chen Shang entered the water curtain door and saw a long passage. The passage was very bright, emitting a golden white light that Chen Shang even felt was a bit dazzling. As expected, it was created by the god of creation. "These mechanisms are very familiar to me," Sister Xiao Jing said. "Brother, he must have left clues about the 3 sacred trees here." Chen Shang walked quickly in the passage. Although this place might have been built by the god of creation, he was as cautious as Sister Xiao Jing. Not long after walking, we reached the end of the passage. There was a stone door, which was also a very complicated mechanism. There were 9 grooves on the stone door. Sister Xiao Jing condensed 9 different polyhedrons as before. Chen Shang has carefully observed those polyhedrons. Each surface is different in size, and the light emitted by each surface is also different. If he is not very familiar with this, he would not be able to create such a suitable polyhedron. Even Sister Xiao Jing was very energetic in this mechanism. She tried to condense the 9 polyhedrons more than 10 times before finally successfully opening the mechanism. Opening the stone door, there is a very spacious stone chamber inside. Unlike the passage with strong light, there is a table in the middle of the stone chamber with a radiant stone on it. There is a piece of paper on the table with writing on it. When Chen Shang saw those words, he was sure they were left by the god of creation. "It's the word of the god of creation," Sister Xiao Jing said. "Yeah." Chen Shang picked it up and looked at it carefully. After reading it, he also knew what the radiant stone in the middle of the table was, and it contained clues about the ancient star tree. This stone is called Star Soul Stone, and is made from a small complete star core. Its surface exuded starlight. When Chen Shang got close to the Star Soul Stone, he felt a strange attraction, as if it contained some kind of secret. Observing the Star Soul Stone carefully, Chen Shang found that a series of ancient runes and star patterns were carved into it, forming a mysterious pattern. Chen Shang is now more certain that there is some kind of connection between this Star Soul Stone and the ancient star tree. When he touched the gem gently, a vision emerged, revealing a lifelike scene. In the illusion, Chen Shang saw a huge sacred tree, surrounded by dazzling starlight, as if stars had descended into the world. At the same time, 3 huge and majestic celestial lions appeared in the illusion. They seemed to be the guardians of the starry ancient tree. As the illusion disappeared, Chen Shang felt that a certain connection had been established between his soul and the Star Soul Stone. The Starry Forbidden Land. The starry ancient tree is in the Starry Forbidden Land. Chen Shang suddenly had a lot of information in his mind. He knew that this Star Soul Stone was the key to finding the Star Ancient Tree, and it was also something that could point him in the direction after entering the Star Forbidden Land. It seems that the God of creation didn't leave any more clues. Chen Shang frowned and said, "It seems that the ancient star tree is not simple. What's so special about this divine tree of absolute beginning?" After Chen Shang got the Star Soul Stone, as long as he injected his spirit into the stone, he would know where the direction was. He ran wildly for several days and finally arrived at the Starlight Forbidden Land. The starry ancient tree is not hidden, but because it is in a very dangerous place, no one has seen it for many years. Chen Shang looked ahead. After Chen Shang entered the Xingwei Forbidden Area, his eyes were covered with a thick layer of fog. This mist is filled with a mysterious energy, making the surrounding scenery appear hazy and blurry. He must move forward cautiously and carefully avoid the dangers and traps hidden in the fog. Even if he has the Star Soul Stone in his hand, he must be extremely careful. Just as he entered, he saw corpses all over the ground, many of which looked like they had just died. Many people can come to this place. After Chen Shang became invisible, he walked carefully on the road. Entering the mist of the Xingwei Forbidden Land, you can no longer see the huge lion mountains. Although it is dark inside, you can still see a large forest. There is space inside. Chen Shang looked around, and he was sure that this was the space opened up in the ancient wilderness of Tianxi. The Tianxi ancient wilderness was originally a space, and the Xingwei Forbidden Land was another space. This means that the Star Kagumu is hidden in multiple dimensions. The route that the Star Soul Stone guided him to take contained no dangerous things, but there were also corpses everywhere. Chen Shang also checked the condition of the corpses and found that there were many maggots with thin hair inside the corpses, which made his scalp numb. He holds the Star Soul Stone in his hand, and these maggots dare not approach him. Sister Xiaojing said, "Brother, this dangerous place must not have been created by the God of creation, right?" Chen Zhang's face was solemn, and he nodded and said, "I suspect that the ancient star tree created it to protect me. The ancient star tree has its own consciousness, and maybe those Star Lord level celestial lions also take orders from the ancient star tree." Sister Xiaojing said in surprise, "If that's the case, it would be terrible. The Star Soul Stone told me that this place is called the Starlight Annihilation Forest." Chen Shang looked at the Star Soul Stone in his hand and suddenly stopped because he was a little scared. This dark and mysterious forest is covered by dense leaves and is almost opaque. It exudes suffocating energy fluctuations from time to time, and the light from outside can hardly penetrate. What frightens Chen Shang is that there is a very strange annihilation star floating here, floating like a firefly. Once touched, the body will disappear instantly. Chen Shang saw something like a firefly landing on a corpse, and then the corpse and the thread maggots instantly turned into mist and disappeared. Along the way, he only saw one or two occasionally, but the front was so densely packed that he didn't know how to get through it. "Is this the wrong way?" Sister Xiaojing said, "Or, if there is a Star Soul Stone to protect it, it can be easily passed through." Chen Shang took a deep breath and said, "I'll go over and give it a try. If the Star Soul Stone is useful, those things should be scattered, right?" Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. Do you like this site? Donate here. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5318, Wild Flame Tree Demon. It's better to be careful, these things are too scary. Sister Xiaojing warned that she had never seen such a terrifying thing, and even thought that even if the Six Paths Divine Mirror touched it, it might be damaged. After Chen Shang approached the Star Soul Stone with the Star Soul Stone, the annihilating starlight like fireflies slowly dispersed, and as expected, they did not approach the Star Soul Stone. "This thing is really evil." Chen Shang couldn't help but sigh, "I don't know where the God of creation got it from. Could it be that he created it?" Sister Xiaojing said, "Brother, it seems that this kind of ghost place is really caused by the ancient Xingwei tree. The Lord of creation shouldn't have such ability, right? The Star Soul Stone may also be related to the ancient Xingwei tree. These ghost places are very dangerous, but no matter what, some people can still walk through them." Chen Shang walked forward and could see corpses appearing on the ground from time to time. There are many people from all forces, and there are also many strong ones. It is normal for them to be able to walk there. If this place is really created by the Xingwei ancient tree, even if those people can go to the location of the Xingwei ancient tree, it will definitely be difficult to obtain the divine fruit. Xiao Xiao's sister Jing said. Xingwei Gumu himself is very strong. Chen Shang said. It is true, the powerful sacred tree itself has a certain strength. Chen Shang felt much more relieved now and could slow down his progress appropriately. It was very dangerous to walk fast in a place like this. If you walk slower, you would have time to react even if you encounter a sudden situation. 2 days passed. Brother, how big is this forest? Sister Xiaojing asked. It always feels difficult to get out. I don't know, the Star Soul Stone didn't give any hint. Chen Shang was also very anxious and wanted to get out of this Starlight Annihilation Forest as soon as possible. Although he was safe with the Star Soul Stone, he felt uneasy when he thought of the densely packed various Annihilation Starlights floating around. He took the Star Soul Stone and looked at it again, and said, this thing seems to only give me a reminder when it encounters something new. Who knows if I can stop it when I encounter those things? Sister Xiaojing said. Brother, along the way, there are many corpses here, and they all seem to die in the same way. Have you seen different ways of death? Chen Shang shook his head and said, I haven't seen it before. Basically, they are killed by the thread maggots that invade their bodies. If you see a different corpse, you should be careful. Half a day passed, and Chen Shang suddenly discovered that the number of corpses in this forest was gradually decreasing. What's going on? Could it be that the corpses here were destroyed by the Annihilation Starlight? After Chen Shang continued to go deeper, he found that the corpses were almost invisible. Although there were Annihilation Stars falling on corpses before, because there were too many corpses and the Annihilation Stars were almost all floating, only a few would fall, so corpses could be seen everywhere on the road before. But here, it is gone. Could it be that this road is too dangerous and no one can get here? Chen Shang looked around and became more vigilant. As long as you are careful, the Annihilation Starlight can be dispersed, and those silk thread maggots can also be prevented. Judging from the strength of the strong men of the major forces, it is not difficult to get here. Sister Xiaojing said. Then there is only one maybe, the corpse was disposed of, which means that there is someone in this place who knows how to dispose of the corpse. Chen Shang slowed down, fearing that he would accidentally touch something. There's someone. Sister Xiaojing suddenly sensed movement. Chen Shang also discovered later that there were indeed very faint footsteps, and they were still a bit far away from him. He immediately looked towards a tree in the distance. He was sure that the man was on the tree and was walking slowly on the branches. The trees in front seem a little different. Chen Shang said to Sister Xiaojing, what do you think? It's a little different. The trunks are a little crooked. The trunks of the trees before were all straight. Sister Xiaojing said, is there something wrong with the trees in front? Just as Chen Shang was about to walk forward, a shadow suddenly flew over from the crown of a tall tree to his left. A man suddenly jumped down and rushed towards him. Chen Shang reacted quickly and took a few steps back in an instant. The man hurriedly changed direction in the air, but still missed. Don't move forward, the man shouted. Why? Chen Shang was puzzled. Because there are a lot of crazy flame tree demons ahead. The man was wearing black clothes and his face was dark. What surprised Chen Shang was that this man was not afraid of the Annihilation Star. After being touched, nothing happened to him. Chen Shang looked forward and said, what is the crazy flame tree demon? The man shook his head and said, I can't tell what it is. I only know that this is what the elders in our clan told us. As long as we step into the wild flame tree demonic forest, we will definitely be burned to death. Chen Shang said, thank you for informing me, brother, but I have to go through the forest ahead. Someone appeared here, and they were from this local ethnic group. Chen Shang was also shocked by this. I've seen many people go in and then yell, and there's fire in the forest. The man added, everyone who goes in will end up like this. If you want to go through the woods, you can take a detour. We can show you the way. €1. Chen Shang suddenly felt that something was wrong. It was already strange that this mysterious group appeared here, and they were actually responsible for leading the way. I want to try and see if I can walk over. Chen Shang said, thinking that since he had something like the Star Soul Stone in his hand, there should be no problem. Then I can only wish you good luck. The man snorted. Another one who doesn't listen to advice. Chen Shang continued to move forward with full of doubts, and soon he entered the forest with some crooked tree trunks. But not long after, the Star Soul Stone sent an introduction to the crazy flame tree demon into his mind. The wild flame tree demons were originally huge trees in the Starlight Annihilation Forest. However, after being eroded by the dark power of the Starlight Annihilation Forest, they turned into evil tree demons. They have twisted branches and burning black flames. Once touched, if you touch the black flame, your body will be ignited into red fire and eventually turn into ashes. Although the Star Soul Stone can resist dark fire, it cannot last long, so it is necessary to avoid the crazy flame tree demon. After Chen Shang received these contents, he also saw several groups of black shadows flying towards him quickly. It was really a terrifying dark fire. The Star Soul Stone vibrated, as if blowing away the dark fire, but the dark fire soon flew back. Chen Shang turned around and ran away. The dark fire shook when it was blown away. The scorching heat that burst out made him feel like his blood was being boiled. If he was touched, he would definitely be burned to ashes. He turned around and ran away, and soon he was far away from the dark fire area, only to find that the mysterious black-faced man was still standing there. When the mysterious black-faced man saw Chen Shang running back, he also had a look of disbelief on his face. He was sure that Chen Shang must die, because for many years, no one had ever escaped from the dark fire area alive. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5319, Tree Village. Are you a human or a ghost? After the black-faced man saw Chen Shang running over, he was so frightened that he backed away and said in a trembling voice, "It's impossible, you can't be alive." Chen Shang grinned and said, "So, you have seen ghosts? Are ghosts very powerful? Look how scared you are." The black-faced man screamed, "Are you really a ghost?" Chen Shang laughed and said, "Of course I'm not a ghost. To be honest, I almost died just now. That kind of will-o'-the-wisp is so powerful, if you get burned, you probably won't even be able to become a ghost." The black-faced man was even more frightened because he had never heard of anyone surviving in the dark fire area. He saw that Chen Shang could survive, which meant that this person was very powerful, possibly the most powerful person in his knowledge. Even the elders in his clan may not be as powerful as Chen Shang. Senior, I have offended you many times before, and my words were a bit disrespectful to Senior. Please forgive me." The black-faced man quickly bowed and apologized. No, you kindly persuaded me before, I have to thank you." Chen Shang said with a smile, "I'm not a senior, I'm just an ordinary person." The black-faced man breathed a sigh of relief in his heart, and at the same time he admired Chen Shang even more. In his eyes, Chen Shang had such great strength, but he didn't seem to have any airs and claimed to be an ordinary person. Such a state of mind made him admire him very much. Because he has met many people with some strength, all of them are very arrogant, and some are even very arrogant. Chen Shang patted him on the shoulder and asked, "Little brother, what is your name? Why are you in a place like this?" The black-faced man said, "My name is Yuan Tong. I am responsible for patrolling this area. If I encounter anyone who enters the wild flame tree demonic forest, I need to dissuade them and bring them back to the village." Chen Shang asked, "Village? Why take it back?" Yuan Tong hurriedly explained, "Senior, please don't get me wrong, we have no ill intentions, we just want to cooperate with the passing heroes. We have a way to safely pass through the wild flame tree demonic forest, but it will also cost a lot." Chen Shang asked, "Then what do I need to pay before you are willing to help me pass through the wild flame tree demonic forest?" Chen Shang was curious about this group. There was actually a way to safely pass through the terrifying wild flame tree demonic forest. That kind of dark fire was very terrifying. They also knew it was powerful, but there was a way to pass through it. We need to go back and talk to the village chief. Don't worry, Senior, even if you don't want to cooperate, we won't make things difficult for you." Yuan Tong said. "In short, cooperation with our village will definitely be beneficial to seniors." Chen Shang thought for a while and said, "That's okay. Please lead the way." Yuan Tong seemed very happy and immediately led the way. On the way, Chen Shang asked some questions about Yuan Tong's village. He only knew that their village was called Shukan. He didn't know the specific strength, and it should not be weak. This forest was originally gray and dim, but the tree villages were very bright, mainly because the leaves of the trees were emitting a faint golden light. After Chen Shang came to Shukan, he also secretly marveled at the magic of this village. He also discovered that the reason why the leaves glowed was mainly due to the annihilation starlight attached to the leaves. Chen Shang asked Yuan Tong and found out that the annihilation star came out of the leaves. In other words, the annihilation star was planted. This shocked Chen Shang. The villagers of Shu village all live inside these big trees. The trees here are so huge that dozens of people cannot hug them, and some are hundreds or even thousands of feet high. Chen Shang couldn't tell which trees were inhabited and which ones were not, but Yuan Tong said that there was a family in each tree. This frightened Chen Shang, because there were so many such giant trees, covering a large area in front of him, with no end in sight. There were at least hundreds of thousands of them. Is this a village? Every tree has a family. Doesn't that mean there are many people in one tree? How many people are there in your village? Chen Shang was shocked. There are at least several people in each tree. Calculating this, you are at least several million people. Yuan Tong scratched his head and said with a smile, Senior, we can live at least more than 100 people in one tree. You see, a tree is so big, wouldn't it be a waste to live with just a few people? There are hundreds of people in a family inside some big trees. There are thousands of people in larger ones. €. Chen Shang was shocked again. This tree village was not the kind of village he understood at all. Is it true that there are people living in every tree? Chen Shang still didn't believe it. It's like this. Everyone in our tree village can apply for a tree. After the application is successful, it will soon grow, and then the person will practice in the tree. The tree will bloom and bear fruit, and the fruit will be very fruitful. It's very big. When the fruit is ripe and you pick it and leave it for a while, a child will come out. Yuan Tong laughed and said, That's how I was born. Chen Shang suddenly frowned. The way you reproduce is really special, so do you have trees now? Yuan Tong laughed at himself and said, No, I am afraid that my children will suffer hardships with me, so I haven't started a family yet. Chen Shang asked again, Are you going to give birth to a child by yourself? Yuan Tong thought for a while and then said, Actually, the process is quite complicated. I just briefly talked about the specific situation before. I definitely can't do it alone. I will take you to see the village chief, and you will know when you meet the village chief. Quote. Chen Shang followed Yuan Tong to the outside of a very big tree. There was no tree hole or anything in sight. In fact, along the way, Chen Shang saw that those giant trees had no tree holes, and he didn't know how to get in. When Yuan Tong brought him closer, he saw that the bark of the giant tree suddenly fluctuated, and a hole like a water curtain appeared. Just go through it. Yuan Tong walked in with Chen Shang. After Chen Shang entered, he found that there was a cave inside, and it was actually very spacious. Moreover, the flesh of the tree inside emitted bright white light, just like daylight, and the light shone on the body very comfortably. Inside is a large courtyard, dug out from inside a big tree. Yuan Tong took Chen Shang outside, and then told an old man that he had brought a strong man and needed to meet with the village chief. The old man looked at Chen Shang and frowned, Is this a strong man? How strong is he? Don't waste the village chief's time. The village is very busy. He entered the dark fire area and came out alive. Yuan Tong whispered. What? After the old man heard it, he was shocked, and then said, Come in quickly. I will go to the village chief immediately. Chen Shang and Yuan Tong were taken to a very luxurious living room, where they sat and were warmly received. Chen Shang guessed that this tree village was most likely a part of the Xingwei ancient tree, so he was still very vigilant. Does that old man just believe what you say? Chen Shang whispered. He doesn't seem to doubt it at all. We don't lie, because there is an ancient curse in Shu village. Once the villagers lie, they will be wiped out. Yuan Tong smiled and said, Of course, senior, you can lie. The ancient curse in Shu village will not fall on seniors. Superior. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5320, The Life Experience of the Village Chief. Chen Shang became more and more curious about this tree village. There was actually such a magical ancient curse. This tree village gave Chen Shang the feeling that it was not just a small village, but an extremely powerful ethnic group. And this ethnic group seems to have a lot to do with the starry ancient tree, and maybe one of the guardians of the starry ancient tree. He only knew that the Xingwei ancient tree was protected by a powerful celestial lion, and the tree village he encountered now was most likely also a guardian. Chen Shang was going to look for the ancient Xingwei tree, but this tree village was in the middle, so he had to be vigilant. Yuan Tong, have you helped many people cross the wild flame tree demonic forest before? Where will they go after passing through the demonic forest? Chen Shang asked. Where can we go through the magic forest? Sorry, senior, I don't know, and this has always been a taboo in the village. You are not allowed to ask or tell. Yuan Tong said. We are only responsible for helping others walk a path that can leave the tree. Village, go where they want to go. €. Chen Shang only felt that something was wrong. Maybe Shuken was sending others to die. This made him restless because he did not completely believe Yuan Tong. He also used his mind's eye to look at Yuan Tong. Although he could see that the man was not lying, he was still very scared. After all, this place was too weird. You can go to a place called Starfire Valley through the demonic forest. I've been there. The voice came from outside the door, and it was a woman's voice. Chen Shang immediately looked at the door, and what came in was a woman whose face was half covered with a golden gauze. The woman was slightly shorter than Chen Shang, but she exuded a strong aura, which made Chen Shang feel a lot of pressure. Village chief. Yuan Tong was shocked, stood up immediately, and said in a panic, I will never tell anyone what I heard just now. It doesn't matter if you say it. The village chief smiled softly and said, Yuan Tong, you can go out. You brought him back. This is a great achievement. Thank you very much, village chief. I hope the village chief can receive Senior Shen well. He is a good person. Yuan Tong was also a little worried that the village chief would hurt Chen Shang, so he was somewhat uneasy and looked at Chen Shang before leaving. Okay, there is no one else. Sit down and talk. After the village chief made sure the door was closed, he came to Chen Shang and chuckled, Did you not expect that the village chief is a woman? Chen Shang smiled and said, I really didn't expect that the village chief should be a beauty, but it's a pity that I only saw half of her face. The village chief chuckled and said, You only saw half of my face, so you are sure that I am a beauty. Chen Shang really concluded that this was a great beauty, but he had seen too many beauties of all kinds, and he felt that most beauties were just like that. Although occasionally there were many unique beauties that caught his eye, but he had seen too many beauties, and he also felt that most beauties were just like that. It feels very ordinary, maybe this is aesthetic fatigue. Chen Shang sighed. Honestly, you are just an ordinary beauty. I have seen many great beauties, and even those great beauties, many of them have been forgotten by me. Huh, what a heartless thing, a wolf-hearted guy, a stinky man. The village chief cursed in a low voice. Chen Shang suddenly felt very strange, because the conversation between the village chief and him did not seem to be something he should have said when they met for the first time, and he could feel the village chief's faint resentment. Chen Shang spread his hands and said, I am indeed a stinky man. By the way, village chief, I hope you can show me the way to get this stinky man out of here. I need to move forward quickly. The Star Soul Stone in his hand only brought him to the front of the Wild Flame Tree demonic forest, and did not show him any other way. In other words, if you want to pass through the magical forest, you can only pass through this mysterious tree village. How much do you know about the place you are going to? After the village chief finished speaking, he hummed again, This is our first meeting, and you asked for something from me, didn't you ask me my name? Chen Shang smiled awkwardly and said, That beautiful lady, dare I ask her name? Suching. After the village chief said, he picked up Chen Zhang's palm and wrote these two words. After hearing this, Chen Shang immediately thought of Palace Master Zhaoqing and Qingxing. After all, they both had the word, Qing, in them. Could this be Qingxing's clone again? Chen Shang looked at the village chief in front of him, with a flash of surprise in his eyes. Guess what my last name is? The village chief asked again. I don't know, isn't this the first time we've met? How can I guess? I'm not omniscient and omnipotent. Chen Shang laughed a few times and said, If you want to guess, let me guess. My name is Shen Shang, I guess your surname must not be Shen. My surname is Shen, my mother gave it to me. She said that my father's surname is Shen. Although I have never met her, she said that my father is very powerful. By the way, my father's name is also Chen Shang. It's true, what a coincidence, you and my father have the same name. Shen Suching stared at Chen Shang with contempt in her eyes. Chen Shang, who had been smiling playfully just now, suddenly froze, and his mind even went blank for a moment. The woman in front of me is my daughter. Whose daughter is he with? An answer immediately came to his mind, that was his and Qingxing's daughter. Because this place is related to Qingxing, and Suching also has the word Qing. Shen Suching chuckled and said, But, your appearance is exactly the same as what my mother described. You are indeed very handsome. No, you are much more handsome than my mother said. Chen Zhang's heart at this moment was as chaotic as an ocean, extremely messy. He looked at the woman in front of him and couldn't say a word. Although Shen Yuanxin was also his daughter and made him feel the joy of becoming a father, Shen Yuanxin was different. She was a creature born of the universe he created. But the Shen Suqing in front of him was his daughter from another woman, and she had grown so big. The most terrible thing is that he didn't know he had such a daughter before. Qingxing never told him. At this time, the voice of Sister Xiaojing sounded in his mind, shouting, "Brother, look carefully at her eyes, they look very much like you. I thought she looked more like you before. Hey, you're not my dad, right? You just have the same name as my dad." Shen Suqing looked at Chen Shang with a look of disgust, as if she was very dissatisfied with her father. I don't know. Chen Shang was really confused now. I know you were thinking a lot just now. So tell me, who is my mother? If you can tell me, I will recognize you as my father, which shows that you at least have some conscience. Shen Suqing said. Qingxing. It took a long time for Chen Shang to hold back these 3 words. He was indeed not sure, and was worried that he would say the wrong thing and lose his daughter. You still have some snacks, so you can think of who my mother is. Shen Suqing pouted. Su Qing. Chen Zhang's old face flushed red from holding back, and he didn't know what to say for a moment. No,